Greetings, Guardians. The Hijabi Gamer here, and Destiny 2 content creators. I don't think there exists, for me, a more annoying group of people than people pay to play Destiny 2. Now, with the Edge of Fate coming out, I've been watching a lot more videos than I used to about Destiny 2 because I was genuinely curious about Edge of Fate. Okay, this is the first expansion I personally have not bought on release since Rise of Iron. And I was hoping things would get better. I was curious to see, have they changed things? How are things going? But honestly, the more I listen to these Destiny 2 content creators, look, I don't mind if you're middle of the road and you can both criticize and compliment, because there are some good things in Edge of Fate. I've heard the campaign is really, really good, and I've heard the raid on normal mode is good. But I've heard a lot more criticism. But most of the criticism are coming from normies. Just regular people who don't live off of Destiny 2. But there are some people, and this video that I'm about to share, this one was basically the straw that broke the camel's back for me, all right? This guy, Lucky 10p, I used to watch him every now and then. Liked his content. He seemed pretty mid. I remember at one point him commenting that because of what he was saying, he would never be on the Destiny 2 creator program or whatever the hell it is. But lately, he has been trying to defend Bungie and Destiny 2 to a degree that is making me physically sick just listening to him, where it's clear he's sitting there saying, please, Bungie, pay me, include me in your super special club, without outright saying it. And this video just really pissed me off to the degree that I'm doing something I've never done before, which is a react video. I am going to respond to this video, which ironically is him responding to someone else. Now, I saw the original video about a guy who's dropping Destiny after 10 years of playing, and I liked his video. You know, as I said, I like Destiny content creators who are just normal people. People who don't live on Destiny 2, who play other stuff in between, who have normal lives, who, you know, don't play Destiny 2 10 hours a day, 7 days a week and get paid for it. So I'm really, this video basically broke me. And if you follow me on X, you'll know I just lost it on X with this video, because he is defending things in this game. And it's not just, the thing is, this isn't in a vacuum. Lately, he's been defending a lot of things. I feel like he goes on YouTube now, finding people complaining about Destiny 2 and trying to defend why Bungie does it. He is defending things that he's the problem. He's one of the problems on why Destiny 2 sucks so much. So here we go. I got Meanie in my lap right here. Good girl.
This video is titled, I'm Quitting Destiny After 10 Years, and it has become trending within the Destiny 2 category, so I figured we would watch and review it together. Let's jump right.
Like I said, I did watch the original video. I liked it. I liked the guy. He started around the same time I did, so yeah.
Right into it.
Before the video starts, I want to give a massive thank you to everyone who saw the last video. I can't believe the support you guys left on that. I still read through the comments, so if you guys are still commenting on it, I am keeping up with it. I am curious on what your thoughts are on the DLC. But anyways, thank you again. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Now, I want to preface that I absolutely love this game. This is the only game that has consistently had me coming back for 10 years straight, and it's the only game that's ever managed to do that. But I think we can...
Yes, let me be clear, I'm the same. People often accuse me of being a Destiny 2 hater, that I hate Destiny 2. This is the only game like him. I started playing right before Rise of Iron dropped. In fact, I have a bias. Rise of Iron is by far my favorite, simply because I was so excited. It was the first time a new DLC was coming out while I was playing Destiny. I started a couple of weeks before Rise of Iron came out. I have hundreds of dollars worth of Destiny merch. I've been playing Destiny 2 until Final Shape, basically, like crazy, okay? I own the collector's edition, so I'm like him. The thing is, if I hated Destiny 2, I wouldn't be so angry. That's what people don't understand. It's the people who care the most who are so frustrated and angry by the state of Destiny 2. We love the game. We miss when the game was great, and we want to enjoy playing it. And every time we look at the state of the game, and it just breaks us. At least it breaks me. It breaks my heart to see the state of the game right now. So before anyone says, you're a Destiny 2 hater, no. I used to play this game on 3 different platforms, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, before cross-save, so 9 different characters, all right? So don't be, yeah.
can all admit that Destiny just isn't what it used to be. I'm not one of those guys that's just going to sit here and say, well, actually, I've been around since the D1 beta, because I just haven't. I started playing Destiny towards the end of 2015 into the beginning of 2016, between the launch of Taken King and Rise of Iron, and the only reason I ever got into the game was because my dad had already been playing for around a year. So it's safe to say I've been playing this game for a long time now.
Let me just add, that's why I was so excited, because I never got to be part of the Destiny beta. So when it came out in Destiny 2, I was so excited. This is the first time I'd ever been a part of a video game beta. It was so exciting. I played it on Xbox, I played it on PlayStation, I played it on PC. It was like I felt cool. It's still pinned on my Xbox page, the Destiny 2 beta, even though you can't even play it. But it's like pinned, it's not even downloaded. It felt so cool to be part of that and to be actually part of the beta. Be like, yeah, I played Destiny 2's beta. It was cool.
And I wanted to just talk about the unfortunate state the game is in and why I don't think I'll be returning in the future. After the Final Shape concluded the Light and Darkness saga, I feel like that was where the conclusion of the game should have been. However, instead of pouring their hard-earned cash from the
thing is, I'm actually the opposite, okay? I was looking forward to more content after the Final Shape. I was curious to see. The thing is, on the one hand, I wanted more content. On the other hand, I don't trust the people writing Destiny 2 anymore to come out with good content. So on the one hand, I was like, I really want something good. And that's one of the things that has me hooked. Or it's like every time something new comes out, you're like, I hope it's good. I hope it's good. And then you get disappointed. And it reaches the point where you learn your lesson. It's like, no, you know what? There's no point in hoping anymore. But every time, and the funny thing is, though, side note, I heard the campaign is actually really good. The story is good. The gameplay is a different matter, but the campaign is good. So unlike a lot of other people who are like, Final Shape is a good stepping off point, I wanted more. I don't want Destiny 2 to end. At least I want good Destiny 2 now.
The £80 DLCs, constant microtransactions,
Wait, he said,
and the Bungie store items shoved down our bin. However, instead of pouring their hard-earned cash from the £80 DLCs, constant microtransactions, and the Bungie store items shoved down our throats, I'm looking at you, Raid Pins. Instead of using that to make Destiny 3, we got Marathon that might not even release due to all the stock.
All right, so Marathon. I totally agree with him on this. All right, so Marathon. Even before the art plagiarism thing and the whole controversy, one of the things that really pissed me off from a lot of people who were talking about Marathon, most of them weren't even Destiny 2 players, all right? People I really like on YouTube talking about Marathon were all saying we should give it the benefit of the doubt, all right? We shouldn't judge it before, they're like, it looks bad, but you know what? Let's see how it goes. Maybe it's good. Maybe the gameplay is good. I was one of the few people who, from the moment Marathon was announced, was like, screw this shit. I'm out. I hope it fails. The fact that they took resources away from Destiny 2 to put it into Marathon pissed me the hell off. Okay, hearing about people on PvP being ignored, Gambit being ignored. It wasn't just Marathon. They were putting their money and their resources into numerous other projects. But Marathon, basically, I don't care about Marathon. I hope it burns. Maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe I'm being biased. I don't care. They should have been putting the money and the resources either into Destiny 2 or Destiny 3. Now, a lot of they shouldn't have. And so I'm with him. We pay so much money only to find out that all that money is or a lot of that money is being pumped into Marathon. And Destiny 2 is minimal viable product where they're lowering our expectations and doing as little as possible. And we're expected to pay more and more money.
An artwork controversy, which I'm not going to discuss here. But as I was saying, this was a clear and happy endpoint for everyone and a beautiful conclusion to an incredible 10-year journey. However,
and to be fair, though, the idea of a Destiny 3 is built upon the premise of a box service game. So basically, like,
Yeah, here we go. Somebody trying to defend the lack of Destiny 3.
Duty, right? It always has, like, a new game every year. Actually, I haven't really been keeping up with Call of Duty, so maybe they're not doing that anymore. But for a long time, that's what they did, and that's called.
And the thing is, he's talking about how Destiny was originally a box game, where it's like, you come out with one after another after another. And the problem is, look, I get it, all right? Restarting everything all over again in Destiny 3 sucks. But from what I'm hearing and from what I understand, Destiny 2 is such a convoluted, code-ridden mess. The fact that they have to remove content so they can maintain this game tells me that this game is broken. It is broken. And if you want to, it's not designed to last this long. I think it was Joker from Dark Royalty, I think it is. Dark Side Royalty. I love his channel. I just keep forgetting the name of it. So that Destiny 2 was never designed to exist in perpetuity. And they are trying to MacGyver it into a game to exist in perpetuity, but it's not working. So one of the reasons that I personally support Destiny 3 is simply because now you can start from the bottom and design the game so that it is meant to be that way. And so, I mean, look at Warframe, all right? Warframe has existed since before Destiny launched. All of the content, except I think one thing, was removed from the game. Only one thing has been removed from the game, okay? And I've never heard anybody complaining about that one thing being removed. All of the campaign, the quests are still in the game. Everything is still there, okay? The game was designed to exist that way. They're able to add more and more content into the game. And yeah, there are ways to break it, but they kind of almost celebrate breaking it. You know, the bullet jump in Warframe actually was done by players, right? And instead of removing it, DE celebrated it and encouraged it. Bullet jumping is now in the new player experience, teaching you how to bullet jump. So I think one of the big reasons I'm a big supporter of a Destiny 3 is simply because they cannot maintain and manage Destiny 2. They're coming up with different ways to, quote unquote, it's not really sunsetting it, but they're realizing the game cannot handle so much. So I fully support a Destiny 3 simply because design it then from the beginning where it's easier to code and easier to maintain so that you don't have to keep taking things out. One of the worst parts about Destiny 2 is the whole FOMO of it, where it's like if you step away from Destiny 2 for a month, you're missing stuff. There's stuff that's never going to come back. Warframe, I can step away from it for, I only recently played it after taking about a month and a half off, and I'm never worried that I'm going to miss out on anything. So they have to constantly be taking stuff out. So that's why I'm thinking Destiny 3, okay? But this guy's trying to defend it.
Call of Duty's box service model, but when Destiny 2 adopted the live service game, they decided to keep the game going in perpetuity. So that's why we got Forsaken, which really...
But that's the problem. Destiny was designed as a one and done. It was not designed to be in perpetuity. And that's why we have so many problems with the game.
They saved the game after D2 Year 1's launch, and every year thereafter we just continued to get new additions to this game.
And content removed. New additions. I mean, that's why the whole seasonal thing is so temporary. Because they can't maintain the game that way.
And that's the live service model, but Destiny 3 would be kind of breaking that and going back to the box service style, which has positives. Don't get me wrong, a bunch of new stuff would be very positive, but it also has some overwhelming negatives. I mean,
again, like I said, it's not designed for this. I mean, I know, look, I don't play a lot of MMOs, but my understanding is I've played some Guild Wars 2, and Guild Wars 2 you can play from the beginning. All of the content is in the game because it's designed for that. Final Fantasy 14. And wow, I've played some of that and some of that. And like I said, I'm no expert on those, but those games are also designed for that. So all of the content is still in the game. Destiny 2 is the only one that is constantly removing stuff. And we're not talking a seasonal activity where it's like, okay, Warframe has the new beach event coming up. Okay? That comes up every year. That's a temporary short-term thing. That's not full-on story content. All right? You want to go and play the new war in Warframe? You can go back and play the new war. You want to play the Red War in Destiny 2? You're out of luck.
You're going to lose all the loot that you've invested in. You're going to lose all these cosmetics that...
So he's saying that if you make Destiny 3, you're going to lose all your loot and all your cosmetics, right? Well, the loot, they are kind of making all your old loot useless anyway. Okay? They keep sunsetting stuff or modifying the system, so all the old loot is useless anyway. What would you rather have? A chance to start with a whole new vault in Destiny 3, or watch the stuff you collected gradually become useless in the game? You know, lock off Destiny 2 at a point, if you possible, bring back all the old stuff, but lock off Destiny 2. Like, if you go back into Destiny 1 right now, all the stuff you have in your vault that's light 400 is viable, okay? It's like you're slowly making your loot useless anyway. So instead of them taking it away from you directly, indirectly they're taking it away from you. As for the cosmetics, look, I haven't spent money on cosmetics in Destiny 2. I figure $100 a year is plenty of money. I'm not spending $20 on armor set, okay? That's just for your hunter alone. It's like $20 for an armor set. I've seen shaders and cosmetics on levels of cost that just blows my mind. Okay, I get it. How about make it a way for people to transfer their cosmetics at least from Destiny 2 to Destiny 3? I'm pretty sure you could find a way to do that. Oh, you don't want to because if you made Destiny 3, you would want to recharge everybody all over again. But make that possible. If it's that important, find a way so that people can transfer at least their cosmetics, which are tied to their accounts, at least their cosmetics. As for their loot, like I said, you're slowly already making loot obsolete anyway. So you're not losing anything for Destiny 3. But the cosmetics, yeah, people spend, like, if it were $2 an armor set, I get it. It's not that big a deal. But $20 armor sets, yeah, you know what? Again, it's tied to their accounts. Tie the cosmetics to their accounts. Let me tell you about cross-saving in Warframe, okay? Warframe brought about cross-save, so now you can play your same account on every single platform, whatever ones you link. So I had Warframe on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Switch. I linked them all together. Now, when you did cross-save with Destiny 2, you had to pick a single account. So I picked my PlayStation account. In Warframe, you know what they did? They just mashed them all together. So I ended up with so much loot after that. So I'm just saying there's a way to make it possible for people to have their cosmetics in Destiny 3. You're being unimaginative, Habibi.
Everyone loves, talking about. We always like to roast Bungie for all their Eververse cosmetics, but how much more painful would it be if you've invested hundreds of dollars, let's say, into all these cosmetics and expansions, and all of it is immediately meaningless? Because
again, you don't have to make it immediately meaningless. Oh, Bungie, if Bungie made Destiny 3, they would love that. They would love to make it immediately meaningless. They would laugh in your faces as you complain about it while they know that they're going to be making hundreds and hundreds of dollars more per person. But you could probably, I have no doubt about it, you can come up with a way to transfer cosmetics. They're tied to your account. Okay, they can easily find a way so that you log into Destiny 3, all your cosmetics are there. Easy peasy.
Destiny 3 is out now, right? It would be even more frustrating, potentially.
Nah.
However, they decided to continue the Destiny universe and start a brand new multi-year saga. Yes, I did say multi-year saga. This left a lot of people umming and ahhing about whether this was something that the people wanted or not, which the majority of people by this point already wanted Destiny 3. Roll around to July 15th, 2025, and oh boy, the Edge of Fate had dropped, and it was lackluster, to say the least. I won't go over my personal thoughts, as I have a whole video dedicated to that in the description if you want to see that. But now I'll get on to why I am personally quitting Destiny.
So, as I said, what I've heard about Edge of Fate is, I've heard some positives. Don't get me wrong. I'll bring up the positive. I heard the campaign is good. The gameplay for the campaign is absolute nightmare. But the campaign is good. Even Lodi, which I cannot get over this guy's name. Okay? He's named after a town in New Jersey. We have a town in New Jersey called Lodi. I keep hearing the train, because I used to take the train, announcing the name of the town, Lodi. Okay? I cannot get over it. His name is named. So I hear the campaign is really good. So that's one of the reasons why I was curious. And I hear that the raid on normal is fun. I feel a little mixed on that but I haven't played it. So some people have told me it's fun. I feel it's a little lazy because it's just basically 3 or 4 big bosses, Vex bosses with massive damage, like bullet sponges. But maybe it's done well. So I don't know about the raid. I just know people have said it's good on normal. That even people who played contest who did not like contest, but people who've beaten the contest raid have said that the normal raid is better and more fun and just a lot more enjoyable to do. So I've heard that's good. Now, I played the first mission on Edge of Fate because you can play, I haven't bought it. You don't have to buy Edge of Fate to play the first mission. They kind of give you a taste. And I can tell you that taste was so sour and so just bad that it turned me off. Like, I was this close to buying it this week. The main thing that was holding me back was debating between PC, so I could play it on my ROG Ally portably, or PlayStation 5 because I like playing it on console. So then I played the first mission for Edge of Fate, and this Matter Spark was a nightmare to do. I do not play a first-person shooter to run around as a little ball. And the thing is, they don't even... Look, it's the first mission. Maybe things got better. But the first mission, it was so creatively bad. So basically, you're going through tunnels, and then you have these, like, podiums or, like, just these things that you have to charge. So I remember this, this fallen... I think it was a captain or an arc. I have no idea. It was a big fallen boss who had their health was divided in half, and you had an invisibility point midway. And the way to get rid of the invisibility was to become Matter Spark and charge these little, like, podiums. And it was 3 of them. It was a pain in the butt, okay? I hated it. Like, I was considering it, and once I played that first mission, I was out. So every single person I have heard who is a normie, okay, just a normal game, has said the campaign is good. Some people hate it. I've heard some people absolutely hate the campaign. Like I said, it's mixed. That's why I guess it's mixed. I've heard some people say it's really good, and I've heard some people say they absolutely hate it. But the universal consensus is the gameplay for the campaign is an absolute nightmare, and people do not want to go back to the campaign because of the gameplay for the campaign. And I can say from experience because I played the first mission. Again, maybe it changes over time, but the first mission turned me off. So what was meant to try and entice me to get Edge of Fate completely turned it off.
This game has completely run out of content for me to play. I have been continuously logging on and floating in orbit for about 10 minutes before I inevitably give up and jump off again. There is nothing this game is offering me right now that has me excited to jump on. Yes, you could argue, well, we have a new raid, we can farm for those new weapons. Correct, you're right, we do have a new raid. But also, if I want to get tier 5 weapons for this raid, I have to clear it 25 times to claim a triumph that awards this kind of loot, which is just something I really don't want to do anymore. I thought that the higher tiered weapons and armor would be...
That kind of blew me away. Now, I don't know the full details about that, but my understanding is you have to do it 25 times. It's like, okay, tier 5 loot, you have to do the raid 25 times to... Okay, that's just discouraging. I don't know the full details on that, but that's kind of discouraging. And this isn't the first time I've heard it. So until I hear somebody saying, no, that's not true, that just turns you off because you want tier 5 loot, which...
a really good change, and a change the game needed. However, after playing around 20 hours of the new DLC, I have had zero effort to grind any of this gear at all. The grind feels too long.
And to be fair, he does have an excellent argument here where the grind is maybe a little bit too long and how many hours that are required.
Yeah, and then he goes and defend it. Like I said, you need to understand this isn't just in a vacuum. This guy has been doing this recently a lot. Okay? Where he basically takes any criticism and immediately... He might even agree to a degree with the criticism, but then he turns around and defends Bungie, why this criticism is, why Bungie is right for doing what they did. Oh, you have a valid complaint. But this is why we're doing it this way, and this is why really you shouldn't be complaining. And why, yeah.
Or needed to be invested to get that tier 5 loot it's pretty high up there. Let's be real, it's pretty high up there. But it should also be said that it's not an absolute necessity that you get that tier 5 weapon. And
that's like I said, this is my second time listening to this. Okay, the first time I got I got to the midway point, I just was sick to my stomach listening. Oh, you don't need the tier 5 loot. The grind is insane and ridiculous, but you don't need it. Then you don't understand Destiny 2 players, because everybody wants it. You want that kick-ass, top of the line, major kick-ass gear, so you can go through the map and just burn through enemies. You want to feel like a god. One of the great things about Warframe, for example, is that ability. They let you break the game so you can go through levels feeling like a god. When you play Destiny, you want to be a mega kick-ass with the best of the best burning through enemies. You're like, oh, well, you don't need the tier 5 loot. Yeah, but I bet you the majority of Destiny 2 people want it. They want that badassery. They want the top. That's just what that's what a looter shooter is about. I gave the example. I'm playing Borderlands 3 right now because I'm working on the platinum. I'm working on the platinum for all the Borderlands games. Okay, and look, once you get past the story in Borderlands 3, the end game content is great. Even the gameplay itself, story aside, is great. I would place Borderlands 3 as having some of the best gameplay and gunplay in all of the games. And I had this kick-ass pistol that was electric damage, and you could switch it to fire damage, but it was only Mayhem 5. I was like, damn it, I could not rest until I got the Mayhem 10. Did I really need the Mayhem 10? I mean, this thing, even at Mayhem 5, was melting enemies on Mayhem 11. It was that sweet a sidearm. Like, it was a pistol of just pistol awesomeness, because you could just melt their shields with the electric damage and then switch to fire damage for their flesh damage. But I was like, nah, bro. I need the Mayhem 10. So you're like, yeah, you don't need the tier 5 stuff, but if you want it, you have to grind a bajillion hours. It's like, yeah, but that's what everyone who play. Like, you want to turn me off of Destiny 2? Tell me that you can't get tier 5 stuff unless you do the same thing 1,000 times. That's like, yeah, but that's the whole point. The whole point is to get the best of the best of the best, right? So it's like, even before I even start, hearing people telling me that it's going to take you hundreds of hours to get the tier 5 stuff, and you have to do the raid like 25 times, it's like, why do I even want to start? I don't even want to start, because that's the whole end goal. The end goal is to get the tier 5 stuff.
We've become way too accustomed to getting the absolute best loot. We've been nitpicky over people having the exact 5 out of 5 god roll.
But that's the point, bro. That's the point. That's why people go into it, all right? They want the tier 5 out of 5 kick-ass, mega awesome gear. That's what people want. That's why people going back. But when you make the grind so obscenely, look, people who go into Destiny 2 expect some degree of grind, but there is grind where you're doing it a certain number of, like, 20 hours, and grind where it's 200 hours. Okay? No, you can't be like, oh, well, you don't need it. Yes, you do. That's the whole point. It's to get the tier 5 stuff. Again, the fastest way to turn me off of this is one of the things that turned me off of getting Edge of Fate. Where it's like, oh, well, it's going to take you hundreds of hours to get the tier 5. You're going to have to do the same exact limited number of things hundreds of times to get the tier 5. So it's like, okay, well, why do I even bother at this point? You know what? There's so many other video games out there where I could feel like a god. Like I said, I'm playing Borderlands 3 to get the platinum because I have it on PS4, but I don't have it on PS5. I want to be ready for Borderlands 4. And the gun variety in Borderlands 3 is massive. So I could get so many great guns just playing the game, okay? And you're telling me, oh, well, you gotta grind, and the map and the world and the things you raise your game to Mayhem 11, you can do anything in Borderlands 3. And this is like one of the things I don't see how they're even gonna come close in Borderlands 4 is the fact that Borderlands 3 has many planets with so much variety, and you're telling me that you need to do the same limited number of items over and over and over and over and over hundreds of times. I heard one guy tell me, say in a video, that he did encore missions for 30 hours straight. Are you kidding me? So no, you immediately are like, okay, so you're telling me that it is ridiculously boring and tedious to get tier level 5 gear, and you're trying to tell me, oh, well, you don't need it. Dude, the whole point is you want it in Destiny 2. You want the tier 5 stuff. And telling people don't even bother?
You know, we've been roasting people when they have the 4 out of 5 god roll because the barrel is a little bit off for the past many, many years in Destiny 2. But
you don't even need to be roasted by other people. I've never been roasted by, the most I ever got roasted by other people was the fact that when I was fighting Savathun, I refused to use Void 2.0. And I did end up beating Savathun, not using Void 2.0, because everyone was like, it's the new thing. You have to do the Void 2.0. I was like, hell no. Okay? No, it doesn't. If you want it, it doesn't matter whether people roast you or not for not having the top tier stuff. You want the top tier stuff because that is the whole point of the goddamn game. But when you make the tedium to get the top tier, there's a balance between too much grind and too little grind. And clearly, from the vast majority of people I have been hearing, the grind in Destiny 2 has reached obscene levels to the point where, like I said, I'm listening to this, I'm like, why am I even going to bother? Why am I even going to bother at this point? There's so many other video games that are so much more rewarding than doing the same thing 1,000 times, because later he does mention doing the same thing 1,000 times. When you hear somebody tell me that you did the Encore mission for 30 hours straight, and they're like, yeah, but you don't really need the tier 5 stuff. No, bro. No. You know nothing then about the Destiny 2 player base. You know nothing.
We shouldn't necessarily need it to be that far.
No.
Like, if you had a tier 4 god roll of the new raid rocket, for example, that is an excellent weapon.
It doesn't
That's gonna
matter.
do a lot of good for you, especially when
Doesn't
a rocket
matter,
would
bro.
be a necessity for a boss encounter. So I don't.
That's not the point. It doesn't matter. People want the tier 5. They want the best. Nobody goes to Destiny 1 and says, oh, well, I made it to 385 light. I'm happy at 385. No. Nobody sat there, I'm content. I can do... What are you doing? I can do a lot of the content. I think you can do all of it at this point. I can do the content at 385. I don't need to become 400. It's the same thing. Oh, a tier 4 rocket launcher is good enough. Nobody wants that. Again, that is the whole point of Destiny 2.
I think that we should discredit the tier 4s, the tier 3s, the tier 2s, or even the tier 1s, because a god roll is still going to be...
No. We're not discrediting them. The tier 4 is just a stepping stone towards the tier 5. Again, Borderlands 3. Nobody sits there and goes, I'm playing Mayhem level 5, and I'm content playing Mayhem level 5. The goal is to get to Mayhem level 11, and to kick ass, and to get those weapons that melt through everything. No, bro. No one is content with a tier 4.
You're really powerful and a really good weapon to have. The armor, obviously, even more interesting with the armor because you do get higher stats, which makes your build significantly better. So you're really going to want at least, at least tier 3 armor, a full set, head to toe. And that's definitely obtainable by even the most casual...
It doesn't matter. You want the tier 5. And you've just proven to me you know nothing about Destiny 2 players. I mean, again, am I wrong? Is anybody sitting there going, yeah, I'm content with tier 3? The whole point to this is that you're grinding to get the best of the best. And the problem is, one, the variety of stuff you can grind to get the best of the best is so limited. And two, the amount of time you have to put in grinding the same limited number of things is ridiculous. People don't go into Destiny 2 not expecting grind. Okay? People expect grind. There's a difference between obscenely, obsessively, over the top, normal people cannot handle this level of grind versus not enough. There's a mid-level, and they clearly have went well above and beyond, and you're trying to justify it by saying, oh, well, you don't need to grind for the tier 5. You should be comfortable with the 3 or the 4. I said the whole video comes across of him going, yes, your concerns are valid, but this is why they did it, and this is why they're right for doing it that way. I feel for you, but this is why Bungie did it, and it's understandable why they did it, and this is how we... No, bro. I said, he comes across also as, like I said, please, Bungie, make me part of your creator program. Please, Bungie, I love you. I'm defending you in every video I make. Look at me. I'm a good little... seriously, I liked this guy until recently. Every single one of his videos. The moment I saw this one, I unsubscribed. I still getting him. I still saw like one or two other ones because I got recommended him, even though... But he went from like decent, like a little, like leaning towards Bungie defender, but still able. You need to be able to both say the positive and the negative, and to try and defend some of the things that really shouldn't be defended. I said I'm very angry with Destiny 2, but you don't see me saying, "Oh well, the campaign sucks because I don't like." No, I admit I'm genuinely curious about the campaign. I thought Lodi looked ridiculous in his glasses. I was wrong. it makes sense from where he's coming from, why he's wearing the glasses at the moment. But to be called, I'm not even going to go into that. But I admit the campaign is good. I was angry about the raid. I have issues with the raid. But I hear that on normal, people are saying the raid is great. I haven't played it. I feel like it's lazy the way what people have described to me, but I'm not going to say it's lazy. I'm going to say I'm not going to make any final decisions about the normal level raid other than I've heard it's good and I'm curious about it. Until I actually do it, I'm not going to say it's lazy. Now, I have issues with the contest raid, which I'll go into later on, but normal, I'm not going to say it sucks because every single person I've heard has said that on normal difficulty, the raid is great. But, bro, just you know what, Bungie, just give him the money. Clearly, he's putting all this effort into being one of your content creators. Just do it at this point, because it's making me sick to my stomach.
Player with the most casual experience, but for sure, if you're a hardcore player, you're going to want all tier 5.
Everyone wants
a PvP player. You're going to want tier 5.
You don't have to be a hardcore. Everyone wants tier 5. Everyone wants tier 5.
If you're a hardcore PvE player, the same. But again, those all mostly applies if you're trying to clear contest raids and stuff. Other than that, do you need a full set of tier 5 armor and all tier 5 weapons to go in and clear a dungeon on regular difficulty? Absolutely not.
Yeah, but that's what everybody wants. Again, you want to go in there and feel like a badass god and go through and just wipe it out as a master tier 5 master. You don't have to be hardcore. Everyone wants that. Again, that's like, dude, that's literally like going to the people playing Destiny 1 and when it came out, right? Destiny 1 at the last year or so and be like, oh, well, only the hardcore people are going for the 400 light. 385 is good. Don't worry, you can complete everything on 385. You don't have to go for... No one's going to accept that. Everyone's going to be like, no, I have to go for the 400. No one is going to sit with not making it to 400. Okay? Come on, bro. Tell me you don't know anything about Destiny 2 people without telling me you don't know anything about Destiny 2 people.
And way too strenuous. This is coming from a guy who's full-time employed and has pretty much zero time to play during the week. But when I do decide to play, the last thing I want to be doing is logging on to grind the same content I've been grinding for the past 4 or 5 years. We have gone from having 2 raids and 2 dungeons per year to 1 raid and 1 dungeon per year.
Oh, he tries
to... Which doesn't sound like a major difference, but it really is. We've gone from...
That is actually a big difference.
Yeah, he's trying to defend this now. Like I said, I got to about halfway and I just could not take listening to this guy because he's going to try and defend the fact that we went from 2 dungeons and 2 raids a year to 1 dungeon. And that's nothing compared to the rest of the stuff we didn't get. There's no new strikes, no new gambit maps, no new PvP.
And I'm glad that he highlights that because I think that Bungie is trying to convince us that less is more, and we're not really believing it, right?
See, like I said, he starts everything with, yeah, I understand where he's coming from. I get the complaint. And sometimes he's like, I even agree with the complaint. But this is what Bungie's doing, and this is why what Bungie's doing is right. And he indirectly, subtly is like, and this is why you're wrong. Even though I'm pretending to yeah, I agree and I understand. But this is why Bungie's doing it. And this is why I'm right. I'm a total Bungie shill. Because this is why they're doing it, and it's right for them to do it this way. Listen, just...
Definitely not believing it. But to be fair, they're also trying to adjust.
See? They're like, yeah, Bungie's trying to convince us that it's quality, not quantity, and we're not believing it. But to be fair...
Where, even though we're getting less, there's meant to be more depth to it.
Oh, we're getting less, but there's more depth to it. Doing the same things over and over, just slightly different.
Those activities, so to play devil's advocate for a minute.
See, like I said, the entire thing is this guy who made the video complaining about something, him going, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but to be fair, this is why Bungie's doing it, and subtly he doesn't say it flat out, and this is why you suck and you're an idiot and you're wrong to complain, and take it from Bungie.
Meant to be that you get 1 raid and 1 dungeon, but we're also getting the epic version of that raid, right?
So you're getting... So what would you rather have, people? 2 raids or the epic? We're giving you modifiers for the new raid. You can do the exact same stuff, slightly different. You know what? How about this? Give us the Desert Perpetual and Wrath of the Machine. Wrath of the Machine. How hard is it to bring Wrath of the Machine?
And so these things are meant to have, ideally, a higher degree of replayability because... Well,
really? So again, you're trying to defend, then you know what? All right, fine. You want to give us more replayability of the same content? Charge us less. Charge us less. You're charging us the same amount of money for less content. Oh, but it's deeper. It has more modifiers, more ways of playing the same thing over and over again. Well, you know what, Habibi, how about this? My $50 is the same quality as 100.
Well, it is so much fun to get so much new content, and in a dream world, we could get one new
just listen to
raid a
this.
month, every month, right? Imagine if every month you got a new raid, and then the next month a new dungeon, new raid, new dungeon, new raid, new dungeon. 6 raids a year, 6.
Nobody is asking for a new raid every other month and a new dungeon every other month. So he's taking the more reasonable. People are saying, hey, we're getting less content, but we're being charged the same amount. To you going, wouldn't it be, we would love it for them to give us a new raid and a new dungeon every month, and every other month a new raid, and then he's taking it to the extreme. Right? This is one of those arguments that the wokies use where they go to the extreme. Where it's like, well, in the idealized world, we'd have this. So instead, Bungie's...
Dungeons a year. That would be awesome, but Bungie would never be able to produce that without a team.
And nobody is asking for that. We are asking for the same amount of content we used to get. Bungie was like, oh yeah, we're going to give you every twice a year the same amount of content as Rise of Iron. Have you looked at how much content was in Rise of Iron?
Team of like 10,000 employees or something, just completely unobtainable for them, right? So it's just not possible for them to do that. So
and again, nobody is asking for that. We're asking to, at the bare minimum, give us the same amount of content for the same price. You're going to give us less content? Charge us less. Nobody is asking for that insane level degree of content, bro. No one. I have not heard a single person say that. But they're saying, why don't we get any new PvP maps? No Gambit maps. I'm one of the few people who actually likes Gambit. No new strikes. One raid. One dungeon.
Instead, what they need to do in their mind is, especially after all the recent layoffs and stuff, they need to take the content that they are...
Oh, shut the fuck up about the stupid layoffs. For one thing, okay, what if some of the layoffs are from the extra projects they were working on? Look, I'm not a developer. I don't know the full context, but I'm hearing stories of... okay, you know what? Bro did a video recently about how they hired an astrophysicist for their writing team to help them with the story. You hired an astrophysicist for your writing team, but not enough developers? I keep hearing all these stories about developers who are much smaller teams making much more content, and everyone is going, they had so many layoffs. And you look at how many people were making Rise of Iron. And that's why I'm saying, because a lot of people are saying the code is a convoluted mess. That's why I'm saying maybe Destiny 3 will help. But with all no, you're trying to defend them, charging us the same amount of money for less content.
Producing and add a higher degree of replayability for it. So basically, make it so that way you can replay the dungeon or the raid, or even in this case, old exotic missions, right? Kel's Fall is what he's in right now. And have there be enough variance in the enemy types, sometimes.
Oh, really? The variance in the enemy types? No! Again, no. You're relying on people replaying stuff they paid for in the past and saying, oh, but it's you're paying for changes to make it more replayable. No, we are expecting, again, we're paying the same price for less content. And you're going, oh, well, they're making the same content more replayable. Seriously, people, is that what you want? I cannot believe you're defending this.
There's dread. Sometimes it's taken. Sometimes it's...
So they're flipping out the exact same enemies that we've been playing over and over again and saying, oh, now it's even more replayable because it is Fallen instead of Dread doing the exact same thing. Can we explain why? No.
Changes per each encounter. Sometimes the objectives are different, right?
No. Again, no. Absolutely not. For the amount of money we are charged, absolutely not. I cannot believe you're defending this. They're making it more replayable. That's one of the complaints people have, that you're expecting people to do the same thing 50, 60, 70 times.
You can change the modifiers yourself, so you could have a grappler on or something. Or
Oh, so skulls like in Halo, but now you have to pay for it even more. Oh, golly gee.
you can have on a different surge and stuff. So that way you can play the same activities, but it feels different from each instance to each.
How many people are excited about playing the same activities over and over, but it feels different? How many people? Because I'm not. I am absolutely not excited about the idea of playing the same activity, only it feels different. Ooh.
Each instance, so that way investing more time doesn't feel quite as monotonous, quite as tiring.
Really, it doesn't feel monotonous. No, bro. No. No, it doesn't. That's like saying, oh, we don't need to add more strikes to Destiny 1, okay, because we've added more modifiers and the Nightfall. So you're doing the same strike as a Nightfall with different modifiers. No.
And it doesn't fatigue you as much. That's their goal, right? Are they achieving that goal? Well, only time will tell in the long run, but for this individual, for him, it's not achieving that goal.
And for Bungie shills like you, definitely it's achieving it, because everything Bungie does is right, and everyone who dares say, hey, bro, we spent the same amount of money, we got less content, we're getting... No, you're wrong. You don't understand. You're getting better quality and less quantity. Well, let me tell you something, Bungie, all right? Since I had a lateral move at my job, which is a promotion to a degree, but it's lateral, so I got paid the same amount. However, because I'm not doing the exact same work and I have more responsibility, that means that the quality of the money I get paid is higher than it used to be. Higher quality. So when I give you $50, it's the same as $100. So, I mean, what are you talking about? You said you're giving us better quality, less quantity. Well, I'm giving you better quality money. Okay, I have a lot more responsibilities at my job, so that influences the quality of my money. Okay, I work my butt off even more and have more like things to answer to my bosses too. Okay, so it's higher quality. Okay, so I should be giving you only $50. I mean, that's what you're saying. It's more replayability of the same stuff. I can't get over this.
Splitting the year into quarterly content drops to one every 6 months, which
and
unfortunately isn't enough for me to keep playing. And I'm sorry if that sounds selfish and greedy, but it's the truth. There isn't enough content being dropped anymore to satisfy me as a player. Like I said,
that's such an interesting paradox that he's created. So he's saying that he has a job, he's busy Monday through Friday, he can only play in the weekend, so he doesn't have very much time to play. But even still, for him, there's not enough.
No, the thing what this guy is saying, from what I understand, what he's saying, he's not saying he wants different variety of things to play. Okay, this is the constant complaint I have heard, that the things there's a very limited number of stuff you can do to level up, and you're supposed to do the same things over and over. And in fact, he just said that's one of Bungie's goals, is to add more replayability to the same stuff. Okay? So he's not saying that he's bored from he's bored from doing the same thing over and over again. There's a lack of variety. Imagine, because I swear I heard somebody in a video say they did encore missions for 30 hours. You come home from work. I'm on my feet 8 hours minimum a day, okay? Sometimes more, sometimes it depends, okay? I am exhausted. I come home from work. Do I want to grind 30 hours? So basically, more than a week of time I have to play Destiny 2, the exact same mission. No. And so that would be me sitting there going, okay, I have 4 things I can do to level up, and I'm bored of all 4 of them. And he's not saying there's a lack of stuff to do in the sense of, it's about the lack of quantity of things you could do. That's what I got from it, because that's the constant complaint I am hearing from everybody, is the fact that there is so few things you can do to level up. Okay?
content for him to play, which is, I mean, I'm not calling this guy out by any means, but I'm just like, this guy
Oh, you're not calling the... Yeah, you are.
definitely ain't 450 power, let's be real.
Yeah, because in order to get to 450 power, you need to do the same things over and over. And he later in the video says about doing something like 1,000 times. Especially given the climate we are in right now, with the vast variety of video games, ask yourself, do you want to do the same mission over and over, or the same 3 missions or 4 missions over and over and over hundreds of times for dozens and 30, 40, 50 hours? Or do you want to play something like Expedition 33? Or, hell, Borderlands 3, as I was just saying, has great endgame, and you definitely feel better than this. Warframe, they do not respect your time. Okay? So even if he isn't at 450, it's because, like I said, there's not enough things to do to get to 450.
If you work in that 9-to-5 job Monday through Friday, you ain't 450 power. Right? Did you clear the raid in contest mode? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Have you cleared the raid since to try and, get the higher tiered rewards, or even any of the god rolls, unlocking the different weapons? I'm down.
How many things can you do? As I keep saying, it is more about the variety of things you can do so you can get up to that 450. Okay? The number of things you can do to get up to the 450.
Out in it, so it's like, I feel like you might just be burnt out on Destiny 2, and you might just be projected.
I think he's burned out on the limited amount of things that you can do in Edge of Fate. Okay? That's, like I said, that's the constant complaint I'm hearing from numerous people who are saying that the amount of content you can do to level up, and you need to do the same things, not to an unreasonable degree.
Your frustrations, maybe not necessarily the absolute truth of Destiny 2's frustrations.
No, it is.
I don't think that anyone's really ran out of anything to do just yet. Like, there's
no, because again, you have to do the same things over and over again. And one of the things that people aren't, that at least like him, are not getting is it's like it's a limited amount of things. And again, people don't go into Destiny 2 not expecting grind. People know there's going to be grind. But I think there's a difference between Obscene, where you have to do the same thing for 30 hours straight and no grind at all, and there's a nice, happy medium. And they have definitely not reached it. And so you have a limited amount of things you can do, okay? A limited amount of things you can do to get to that max level, and you are expected to do them over and over again. So, yeah, if you're doing the same thing for 30 hours straight, and then you go, I'm bored, and it's like, but you're not 450 light. Yeah, well, I've been doing the same thing for 30 hours straight. I'm bored. There's not enough variety to it. That, again, I did the first mission in Edge of Fate. But that is the constant complaint I've heard from everybody. The same thing, except for people like him who can't see anything wrong in Destiny 2.
So much, even though it might be like really repetitive, just grinding your power level, doing like 1,000 encores.
See? To say 1,000 encore, even if it's extremely repetitive. No, bro. No. You can't defend that. Oh, you haven't, nobody's bored yet because they haven't done the same mission 1,000 times. What's wrong with you, bro? Why haven't you done the same mission 1,000 times? There's definitely plenty of content for you. You haven't done the same thing 1,000 times. Nobody wants to do the same thing 1,000 times. I can't. Absolutely not.
Or Kel's Fall. Nobody's ran out of anything to do just yet. Like, even the people who are like...
Yeah, because they haven't done it 1,000 times yet. Oh, they haven't run out of things to do yet because they haven't made it to 450 by doing the same 4 or 5 things 1,000 times. That's, again, bro. You need to play other video games. Get out of Destiny 2 and start playing other stuff.
I haven't even showered since July 15th. I haven't run out of stuff to do yet.
Said that may sound
Wait, did he just
selfish and
admit?
greedy, but it is just the truth. Seasons have been retired.
Did he just?
I haven't run out of stuff to do yet.
Said that
Wait,
may
one
sound
sec. Wait, did he
selfish and-
just?
Since July 15th, I have or Kills Fall. Ain't nobody's ran out of anything to do just yet. Like
That's
even
loaded.
the people who are like haven't even showered since July 15th. I haven't run out of stuff.
That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting, especially in the summer. That is absolutely abhorrently disgusting. If you haven't taken a shower since July 15th, that's disgusting. That's just absolutely. At most, I won't take a shower on Saturday, but I take a shower daily. That is disgusting. There is nothing worth sitting in your own since July 15th. Again, I'm going to just keep saying this over and over because you seem not to. He's just doing the same thing over and over and over for thousands of times. It's not content, bro. And normal people will get bored of doing the same thing 1,000 times. And the comments in this video, people are saying, powering up is not content, bro. This isn't content. And we're expected to pay the same price for this limited amount of content.
To do yet.
Said that may sound selfish and greedy, but it is just the truth. Seasons have been retired. We've now gone from one big expansion a year to two smaller sized expansions a year with a single major update a couple months after the initial release of the expansion. Don't get me wrong, I was bored of the Seasons formula a long time ago, but this new formula is just not working for me. And yes, I know I'm being a little bit preemptive when it comes to this opinion because we haven't had the second expansion drop yet. However, I just don't think this is going to be something I enjoy. I remember us launching into Forsaken.
The thing is also, Bungie knows their game is in dire straits, right? You need to grab people from the beginning. It's like when you read a book and people will pick up a book and read the first page and drop it. This is a sign of things to come. All right. When this big drop, update, whatever, it's going to have to be impressive because how are you going to be pulling people back? So many people are so turned off already of Edge of Fate and haven't bought it. Okay. I don't know. It's just... Try relying on future content when you are in this position where you need people. You just...
Day it dropped and being overwhelmed by how many exotics had been added during the update. We had well over 20 exotic weapons and 15 exotic armor pieces, which is 5 per character. You want to know how many we got in the Edge of Fate? We got 3 weapons, 1 being the raid weapon, and 3 armor pieces, 1 per class.
So he's going to try and defend this. So he's trying to defend the lack of this is basically the point where I actually unsubscribed. Where you're trying to defend the lack of exotics, and this defense just... Again, you're expecting us to pay... How much was Forsaken? We got more content out of Forsaken, and Forsaken was cheaper. Quality over quantity.
I know it's unfair to compare the two expansions due to Destiny 2 still being pretty fresh and bare bones going into Forsaken, but to have an expansion you pay £40 for and to get the bare minimum of content is just diabolical and almost inexcusable. I'm going to
So to speak on that moment just a little bit on that topic, I am on the same page in regards to I always want more in Destiny 2.
See, he does it again. He starts with, to speak to that, I am always on the page of getting more content, but, and then he goes and defends Bungie and basically is like, this is why you're an idiot for daring to think that. How dare you think that Bungie is right for what they did? Shame on you.
Want more exotics, but it should also be said that that formula can get a little bit repetitive in and of itself too. You could also
so getting a lot of exotics in your latest expansion can get repetitive and no
But you can always just add more exotics. Like right now we have so many exotics that most of you out there, you don't even use half.
So what's the point? There's a lot of exotics and you don't even, that's not defending the lack of adding new exotics. Okay? Most of you don't even, you want to know my favorite exotic that I still use to this day? Raiden Flux. It's that chest piece for the hunters. Extends your super for the Arc Strider. One of my favorite exotics. You probably don't even remember that it exists, right? Oh, so we have a lot of exotics, but we don't use them all. So that's why Bungie should give us less. That's why they should charge us the same amount, but give us less. Gee.
Of them. Let's be honest. Like, what class do you play? Titan, Hunter, Warlock? Have you in the last...
Oh, wow. You didn't notice he was playing a Warlock. Even I noticed that. Because you can see he did the... Yeah. He was playing a Warlock. Mr. Destiny 2 man.
last 2 weeks used, 20 different exotic armor pieces?
So because he didn't use in the last 2 weeks 20 different exotic armor pieces, you don't deserve more exotics. Use all the exotics you already have before we give you more. Shame on you for complaining that you paid for all those other exotics. You haven't used them enough. For shame. Bad. Please, sir, can I have some more? No. How dare you demand more when we already gave you so many that you paid for?
Like, probably not, right? Like, there's
Doesn't
just
matter.
such a plethora of existing
Doesn't
armor pieces
matter.
that we almost, I'm not going to say we don't need new exotics, but like we have so many
Doesn't
already
matter.
that if we took the exotics that we have existing and did what Bungie's doing,
No, it doesn't matter. So you're saying because there are already so many exotics, we should, get less. Then again, charge us less. Don't give us less and then charge us the same amount.
and we buffed them and enhanced them and gave
Oh,
them...
so they're just they're basically buffing and nerfing old stuff, and somehow that justifies the price. Oh, but they're taking the old exotics and improving on them. That's why we're charging you the same amount for less content. Don't tell me you're not constantly buffing and nerfing everything throughout the game all the time. No, bro. No.
More modern character traits and perks and abilities that they would fit in the current ecosystem better, right? We should take existing exotics and enhance them and make them better.
No. Then you know what? Again, charge us less. Especially this level of drop. It's not like, oh, it's 1 or 2 less. No, you're trying to say, oh, so they're taking the old stuff that we paid for and they're improving it, so that justifies them charging us. See, they're right to give us less because they're fixing the old stuff. I'm sorry, but no, dude. No, dude. Absolutely not. This, like I said, this is the point that broke me. With it's more quality exotics. Less quantity, more quality. I cannot get over this guy defending all this shit.
Better. We don't necessarily need to have, in our collections, our exotic collections, like 500 exotics with us only actually using 5 of them, right?
I have exotics in my Destiny 1 vault that I never use, but you know what? I have them because I want them all. Okay? You want them all. You're not getting the whole Destiny 2 mindset of you want them all.
It's not necessarily a better outcome. The better outcome is to have more meaningful exotics and make the exotics that currently exist in the game extremely meaningful.
How about? No, wait.
Well, and so what Bungie has done with Edge of Fate is they've enhanced the quality of life features with the replayability with the portal and made it so that...
Again, he's trying to defend that they modified and changed things and are still charging us the same price. Like, we improved the quality of life. And we're charging you $100 for the whole year anyway.
That way you can grind a lot more if you want to grind a lot more and get better loot for doing so rather than just grind for no reason, right? Like if there was no reason to get up to maximum power, then people would be like...
Wait a minute! Whoa, Habibi, didn't you just say that you don't need to get up to maximum level? That level tier 3 stuff is good enough, so there's no point to So wait a minute, didn't you just say there's no point to grinding to max level? That the tier 3 and tier 4 stuff is plenty good? So there's no point to grinding to tier 5? Now you're saying if you want to grind to tier 5, Habibi, make up your mind.
They'd be logging off. They wouldn't be even trying to get up to that 450
level. So you're first saying you don't need to get to the 450, but now you're saying there's no point to logging on to the... Let's just do this again. Wait a second.
Regards to the enemies, so he kind of had 2 different arguments. More Fallen, and they're of course a variant of Fallen, which I do find to be to talk on that point in regards to the enemies. So he kind of had 2 different arguments that he bounced between.
Keep the game fresh, but unfortunately it just wasn't the case. They just became the most annoying race of enemies.
Where to go?
Really is interesting as making the current existing exotics better and making the systems in the game better, in my opinion, though.
We talk about
So,
the enemy
one sec.
variety
So,
in
one
the
sec. Let me
game
go back
now.
to that again.
Because throwing 10 new exotics at us right now, but we're also in a new era. We're in a new time. We're in
One
a
sec,
whole
sorry
new
about that.
to maximum power. Then people would be like, they would already be logging off. They wouldn't be even replayability with the portal, and made it so that way you can grind a lot more if you want to grind a lot more and get better loot for doing so, rather than just grind for no reason, right? Like if there was no reason to get up to maximum power, then people would be like, they would already be logging off. They wouldn't be even.
So he's saying if there's no reason to grind up to maximum level, people would be logging out. But didn't you just argue that there's no reason to grind to max level because tier 3 and tier 4 stuff is good enough? So make up your mind, bro. Are we supposed to be wanting to grind to max level, or are you saying that there's no reason to grind to max level, so just might as well log off when you get to 350 or something? Like, just make up your mind. Okay?
Trying to get up to that 450 level, but there is a reason, the higher tiered loot. So I do agree.
Yeah, you just said, like, what, 10 minutes ago, that the higher tiered loot isn't necessary. Now you're saying get the higher tiered loot.
I always want more exotics. I reminisce back on the days of the Taken King when we got so many new.
Here we go
But,
again. I reminisce it. I always want more exotics, but...
we're also in a new era. We're in a new
Oh, we're in a new era. A cheap, lazy era.
time. We're in a whole new movement with Destiny 2. And that movement is about making what we currently have existing as high quality as possible. And I actually agree with Bungie in that regard.
Of course. See, he's like, I said, the entire thing, all his videos are the same thing. Where it's like, I understand where you're coming from. And I agree. I've always liked that more. But this is what Bungie's doing. This is why I'm shilling for them and sucking their whatever. And I totally want what they're doing instead. I understand where you're coming from, but you're wrong. And this is why Bungie's doing what they're doing. And you are a loser for complaining.
Because throwing 10 new exotics at us right now, and only 3 or 4 of them being good, does not sound nearly as interesting as making the current existing exotics better and making the systems in the game better.
How about throwing 10 good exotics at us instead of just...
In my opinion, though.
We talk
So
about the
basically, okay, they're improving the old exotics and throwing less new ones at it. How about at the bare minimum, don't cut it so that it is a fraction, okay? You're constantly modifying the game all the time. I cannot believe it, okay? You're giving the bare minimum of exotics, and you're saying, oh, but they're fixing the old stuff, and we should pay for that.
enemy variety in the game now. I can't tell you how bored I am of fighting the same shit all the time. I get it. We've been playing the game for a very long time now, and of course we're gonna get bored of the same enemy races over and over again. But for me, it's just got to the point of where can the game go from here?
There are more, look it up, there are more varieties of Corpus, which is one faction in Warframe, than in all of Destiny 2. Like, I remember looking up, because I didn't realize just how many variety of Corpus there were. I knew there were a lot. But then when I looked it up, I was blown away by the variety of Corpus enemies alone. And that doesn't include the Grineer, the Murmur, you name it. But there are more variety. You just keep scrolling through it. You like all these different variety of enemies on the side of the Corpus. And then you look at Destiny 2 and you're like, I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating a little, but there's definitely a lot more variety of enemies in Warframe than Destiny 2 all.
When they added the new race, the Dread, during the final shape, I thought this was great. I thought it would be the mix-up we needed to keep the game fresh. But unfortunately, it just wasn't the case. They just became the most annoying race of enemies we had ever fought, with Strand Scions pulling you towards them all the time. And then you have Husks charging at you, meleeing you to death in like 3 hits. Don't even get me started on those god-forsaken bats. Despite all of Bungie's efforts to keep the game afloat and to keep it standing on its own 2 legs, the longer the game goes on, the more it's going to struggle. The aim for Bungie is to keep all of...
So, to talk on that point in regards to the enemies, so he kind of had 2 different arguments that he bounced between there. The first one was that he's kind of exhausted with fighting the same enemies, which I strongly agree with. I think that, we decided to leave Earth, or to go to the very edge of our solar system, right? We're at Kepler now, and at Kepler there just so happens to be more Fallen, and they're of course a variant of Fallen, which I do find to be interesting, but fighting the same enemy once again feels a little bit exhausting.
Yeah, the same enemy where it's boss with damage halfway, immunity phase, damage halfway. Just
So that, I wish that we could have more new introductions to enemy races, But I think that a point that he brings up that he almost like negates his first point.
No, he
is
doesn't.
because then he says, well, Bungie did introduce a new race, and it's called the Dread, and I absolutely hate them, you know? And so it's like, Bungie can't win in that situation.
No, so you're basically saying, what he's saying is the guy is saying that, okay, I want new enemies, but when they introduced a new enemy, I didn't like the new enemy, so don't add new enemies. No, Habibi, he's saying add good new enemies. That's what everyone is saying. All right? So you're like, Bungie can't win. People don't like the old enemies, and people don't like the new enemies, so, poor Bungie. No, dude. The new, personally, I didn't really care about the new enemy. I liked the final shape. I didn't have a problem with the Dread, but people said apparently they don't like them. So you're saying, oh, he didn't like the new enemy, so don't bring in new enemies at all. No, bro. You this is a level of, I don't even know what the argument fallacy is at this point because I'm so fed up with this guy. But you're going just like he did with the whole thing with the raids, where he's like, oh well, people are unhappy that they only got one new raid and one new dungeon, but Bungie can't give you 6 new raids a year and 6 new dungeons, so we need to see where they. No, bro, that's not what they're saying. No one ever said 6 new raids and 6 new dungeons, and he's not saying don't give us new enemies. He's saying that the one you did give us was a terrible new enemy. Try to be more creative and make a better enemy. Understand your game and how the enemies you're introducing work in the game. And so, no, you go to the extreme with this guy. He's not saying don't introduce new enemies. He said when they actually did, it was a terrible new enemy, but we want new enemies. We just want good new enemies. Holy shit, dude. Talk about totally taking this guy's argument wrong. He didn't say no new enemies, but the new one just happened to be bad. He's not saying don't try again. He's just saying bring new enemies.
Either you get the old stuff, revamped, like we're getting a new version of the Fallen, and we also know that we're getting a new version of the Cabal in Renegades, which I'm sure, veteran Destiny players will have vocal opinions about. And so,
oh yeah, like how we got the Red Legion. I liked the Red Legion, but you can shoot through their shields. That was stupid.
We know what Renegades is going to have, a revamped version of the Cabal, or you get the new enemy race, and then everyone's just like, we hate it. We hate what the new enemy race does. They're annoying and stuff like that. And of course, no one wants enemies that are annoying necessarily, or apply status effects on you like slowing and all the stuff that the Dread do, slowing you down, and tinnitus. My gosh, I'm sick and tired of tinnitus. But that's kind of where new enemies have to go. Like if you just created new enemies and they did the same thing as the old enemies, then people would criticize you heavily for that. So Bungie's in kind of a catch-22.
So basically, the only types of enemies you can create in Destiny 2 are exactly the same, are similar to the old enemies or annoying new ones. Is that what you're saying? You're saying that either you're going to get annoying new enemies that have annoying features, we can't come up with new enemies with new creative features that aren't annoying. That's what you're saying. You're saying, oh, people will get bored if you use the same abilities as the old enemies, or come up with new enemies that have annoying features. There's no way to come up with new creative enemies that are actually good. I've often used the example of the Court of Oryx. I loved the Court of Oryx, okay? The bosses in the Court of Oryx were all very unique and very creative. What are the bosses we now get in Destiny 2? Damage, immunity phase, damage. That's it. They're all the same thing. There are so many, and bullet sponges. I've been playing Remnant. Great game. There are ways to make bosses creative without turning them into bullet sponges. There are ways to come up with new enemies that are creative and well received. They just happen to have a lousy luck with the first one they did with the Dread. But you are totally not getting what people are saying. They're not saying don't do new enemies. They're just saying don't make it an annoying new enemy. And yes, there's the ability to make a new enemy that isn't annoying. Did you not hear what he just said? He's like, Bungie can either create new enemies with similar abilities as the old enemies, which will have people angry, or they can create new enemies that have annoying features. And there's no in between. There's no, dude. Tell me you don't play any other video game. Seriously, Lucky 10p, get off of Destiny 2. There is a world of first-person shooters out there that are so much better than... You know what? That's one of the things that gets to me, because I was one of those people. All right. There was a time where if you had asked me what is the best video game ever made, I would tell you Destiny 2. Why would I say that? Because it's basically all I played. once I started experimenting with other video games, Destiny 1, because of nostalgia reasons, and I just love the story and the world, Destiny 1 is at the top, one of my top 10 games. Destiny 2, definitely not. There are so many great games out there. Once you start, the only reason somebody thinks Destiny 2 is the greatest game ever made, other than like nostalgia reasons or just that whole, I made so many friends playing Destiny 2. But if you start playing even just the first-person shooter genre, you're going to realize that Destiny 2 is mid. Don't get me wrong, the gunplay is great, but in general, the game is mid. First, the headshots are amazing. I won't deny that. But the game isn't that phenomenal. Play Halo. You're a Bungie fan. Play Halo, bro. You can play it on PC. Have you played Halo? The Division, Remnant 2, Doom. Play the Doom games, bro. And that's just first-person shooters. I didn't even include Warframe in that. But play Warframe. No. It shows me you know nothing about the wider world of gaming if you're like, the only options they have are to take the features from the old enemies and just use the same stuff all over again, or make new enemies and they're all gonna have annoying features. Holy shit, bro.
Situation when it comes to enemies.
Are you that eager to defend Bungie that you're coming up with such ridiculous arguments? Oh, well, if Bungie tried to make new enemies, people are just going to find them all annoying. Are you willing to twist things so ridiculous to defend Bungie?
That they were a little more creative, though, a little more innovative, and we could introduce new aliens into the ecosystem. However, I know that it's a complex problem because as you introduce the new alien race, you also have to incorporate lots of other stuff with that.
Oh my god, adding new enemies into the game would be so complicated and it would be so difficult. Oh my god, I don't know of any other video game that did that. That made it so hard. Oh no, the murmur, whispers of the wall.
I'm sure it's extremely difficult in terms of developmental effort. And
yes, because it's only difficult for Bungie. It's only difficult for Bungie. Other people have done it. I mean, flat out, I could just tell you Warframe with the murmur and whispers in the wall. Just saying.
I don't know how much it necessarily moves the needle. Like, does Edge of Fate launching with a whole new enemy race to fight really move the needle heavily and make everyone really want to buy the expansion all of a sudden? I don't know if it necessarily sells.
Oh, so you're saying that adding a new enemy, if adding a new enemy to Edge of Fate doesn't move the needle and add interest, then it's not worth it. That's what you're saying? Really, bro? So let's just throw, what is it? They're fighting Fallen on Kepler instead? Sheer, pure laziness? Because it might be a little difficult to create new creative enemies?
As much as people perceive it to. It can also be difficult when you have to incorporate all of this into like the lore.
Oh, don't even get me started. The lore. All of a sudden, Habibi cares about the lore. How cute. How sweet. Aw, you actually finally give a shit about the lore. Let's get into the lore. Watch my previous video about the lore and how you didn't care. Nobody cared about the lore. Bungie hasn't cared about the lore. Even this new expansion, my understanding is they broke the lore because the 9 are now responsible for everything. Okay? The amount of times that they have basically just taken the lore, crumpled it up, and thrown it out. You're like, oh my god, they're gonna have to worry about it. You know what? If you're genuinely creative, you could come up with ways to get it to fit in the lore. Like Nayamuna. I have repeatedly said this during my live stream. I don't think the idiots writing at Bungie right now know a thing about the goddamn lore. Because if you actually knew about the lore, you could come up with ways to get this stuff to fit. With minor modifications, my live stream, people in the stream came up with ideas, but I came up with my own idea how to explain Nayamuna. You want a new enemy? If you actually know the lore, you could come up with ways to add it. All of a sudden, Habibi cares to defend Bungie. He cares about the lore. Nayamuna makes absolutely no sense. Nothing about it makes any sense at all when it comes to the lore. Osiris and Saint 14 doesn't make sense. What they did with Season of the Splicer doesn't make sense. But hey, at least the writing department has more women than any other department, so feminism, yay! Golly gee, who cares about the lore when we want to just change characters because it fits our /fan fiction? Bro, if you're really creative, you could come up with a way. Okay? You really could. But all of a sudden, you caring about the lore makes me want to pat you on the head. How cute! How adorable! Get out of Destiny 2.
You know, obviously when we leave the solar system, we'll have to be fighting some new enemies at that point, right? Like,
oh, that you sweet summer child! You sweet, adorable, innocent summer child. You really think that? You really think we leave the solar system, if we ever do leave the solar system, which at this point I have my doubts, you really think that we leave the solar system, we're going to be fighting new enemies? You really think that? After the history we've had with Bungie and Destiny 2, you really think that? That's so cute.
once we've actually left Sol, then it's true.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will actually add something new. I mean, but am I holding my breath? Absolutely not.
We'll be fighting some new stuff. It would be really weird if we left Sol and then it was the same enemy.
Really?
So that should be on the horizon, some new enemy races. Hopefully the new ones deliver in a way that was bigger than the Dread, because I think a lot of people have had mixed opinions about the Dread.
Wait a minute, like I said, I thought you just said that the only possibilities Bungie has in creating new enemies is either to mimic the old enemies, the abilities of the old enemies, or make stuff annoying. I thought you just said that. Now you're saying, well, maybe Bungie can do beyond that? I thought you just said they can't. Make up your mind.
They've kind of disliked what they do to us, so maybe Bungie can read that feedback and make the next enemy race a little bit less annoying. They did also technically introduce some new variants of Vex, like we have the Imps now, and myself personally, I think the Imps are fucking awesome.
New Vex. One whole new Vex. Oh my god! Must have broke the bank.
Dude, these guys, they look absolutely evil and menacing, and they're just floating around, and they're looming over you, and you shoot them, and then...
I mean, even when he's talking about this, it just comes across at this point. When it's one thing if it's like, but when you look at everything he's been saying for a while now, and he's like, I like the Imps, they're so great. It's like, do you really? Like, a part of you feels so disingenuous at this point. I hate doing this. I hate reacting to other people, but it's gotten to the point where you're looking at all of these every time. I feel like he sits on YouTube looking for people complaining and coming up with justifications for everything. As he said, it's always the same thing. Yeah, I hear where you're coming from. I agree. I've always liked more exotics, but I agree more with what Bungie's doing and why they're giving us less. And this is why, and it just comes across as condescending. It comes across as shill. And the thing is, I'm not saying don't compliment Destiny 2. But there's a balance between, you need to be honest, first of all, and trying to defend things that are bad. Okay? Warframe, which I brought up multiple times. I like Warframe. I'm not going to say it's perfect. And if people have criticisms for Warframe, I'm going to hear them out. And I often agree with them. Okay? I don't think the game is perfect. I have often criticized it as well. I have also complimented Destiny 2. Multiple times I have said, I have heard the campaign is really good, and I'm really curious about the campaign. I've heard the gameplay sucks for the campaign, but the campaign is really good. And I've heard that the raid on normal is good. Okay? And that's why at several points I've been this close to buying it, because I've heard good things about the campaign, and then I played the first mission in the campaign. So I am not going to never compliment Destiny 2 either. But you need a balance. And when you bring up valid concerns and you twist into knots trying to defend them and defending stuff, like I said, you look at the comments in these videos he's been making, and a lot of people, not all of them, but a lot of people are roasting him at this point. We're like, bro, what content? What are you talking about? How are you defending lack of exotics?
All the little miniature imps just start swarming after you and trying to kill you. Like, obviously I don't want enemies trying to kill me when I'm trying to complete my contest raid.
That's the point of enemies.
Cool. I think the imps are awesome. I actually really liked that introduction. And personally, I didn't hate the Dread as much as the average Destiny.
Like I said, I didn't hate the Dread either. But again, the problem is it's hard to take any compliments now this guy says seriously, because he even defends the bad. So he comes across as so disingenuous. And that's the problem when all you do, I said, you spend all this time defending things that most players are very angry about. You misconstrue some of the things people are saying, okay? And then when you finally do say something, like, I don't know anything about the imps, okay? But when I hear him saying something positive about it, after hearing everything else he said, I'm like, do you really? Are they really that good? And I mean, again, I've never understood the complaints about the Dread. I didn't really have a problem. I played the campaign for the final shape on legendary difficulty. I just had help defeating the final boss. The Witness. Mostly because it was just like people just came in and it was like, let's just get it over with at this point. But I played the campaign itself on legendary. I didn't have a problem with it. But then I guess I was having so much fun with just getting to having Cade back. But again, he comes across as so disingenuous at this point that, let me put it another way, okay? When the final shape came out, people have known me for being both critical and positive about Destiny 2. Okay, I will, like I said, I will compliment it when it deserves it. I will criticize it. People came to me and said, Kat, what do you think of the final shape? And when I said, I liked it, people turned and said, okay, now I'm buying it. Because they know that when I say I liked it, I'm genuine. I'm not trying to defend Bungie. I'm not trying to shill for Bungie. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I didn't even expect that. I did not expect people to come to me and say, Kat, what did you think of the final shape? And when I say I liked it, they said, now I'm buying it. I did not expect that. I was surprised when people told me that. And that's one of the reasons why I am still seriously considering buying the Edge of Fate. Because I know that there are people out there who genuinely want to hear how I view things in Destiny 2. Because I'm not going to do what he's doing. I'm not going to defend something that I know is not defendable. But on the other hand, if something is good, I'm going to tell you it's good. Flat out. If I don't like something, I'm going to tell you. When I played the first mission in Edge of Fate, I hated Matterspark. Flat out, absolutely hated it. Now, again, I'm going to be clear. I only played the first mission. I understand it gets more abilities. But everybody I have heard has said they hated Matterspark. And before that, it was me only hearing what other people said. Now that I played the first mission, my God, I absolutely hated it. But that's why I'm seriously considering getting Edge of Fate, simply because I know that there are people who want to know what I think of it. And as somebody who's been playing Destiny since Rise of Iron, well, before Rise of Iron, I'm not some newcomer. But anyway.
A two-player does, but maybe that's my personal opinion, and maybe that's not your opinion. Feel free to let me know what you think about the Dread. What do you think about the...
I don't know what is his personal opinion. That's the thing. Okay? It comes across as him so trying to please Bungie and so trying to defend Bungie that I keep saying this, he comes across, anyway.
Imps, what do you think about the Elixir in Kepler?
Us playing for as long as humanly possible, retaining the playtime, player numbers and players retention. But with the activities that are currently in the game and the way power leveling is such a chore to do, it's pretty hard for people to keep grinding. I thought the change to the new leveling system was great, I really did, but over time it's just proven to be worse than I initially thought it to be. Someone over on Twitter has just hit 450 power this morning, the power cap, and now they have nothing to do. What are they going to do? Farm tier 5 gear that they probably already have, farm weapons for roles that they probably already have. There is just nothing.
What they're going to do if they just hit 450 is they're going to take a shower and then go outside and touch some grass and then maybe go to the gym, because if you have hit 450 power after 2 weeks, you have played the game for about 15 hours a day, 14 consecutive days in a row.
The thing is, in this case, this is one of the arguments where I'm like, okay, you hit 450. All right, that is, okay, bringing it up now, that's not your normal argument, all right? This is the one argument where I'm like, I'm not sure where I stand on the whole thing, okay? Where he's like, okay, if you've reached 450, you've been doing absolutely nothing but playing Destiny 2, okay? These are the people whose opinions to me don't matter, all right? If you're one of those people who has no job, who basically gets paid to play Destiny 2, has the ability to make it to 450 in 2 weeks, your view on the game means absolutely nothing to me, okay? Because that is not the normal experience. The vast majority of the people who play video games in general are adults, with jobs and lives, okay? So telling me that you managed to get to 450 and you were bored, that's a different kind of bored than the board you were initially bringing up. There's the board of, I reached max light level, and it's like with Destiny 1, where it's like, I made it to light 400, I completed everything, and I have all the exotics, and now I'm bored. Okay. Good on you. That took you a lot of time, probably hundreds of hours. You know, it took you a very long time to get that far. Personally, if I'm like, I don't have all the exotics, but I'm like 400. I like challenging myself to soloing stuff in Destiny 1. But I don't play Destiny 1 as much as I used to, okay? Telling me you made it to 450 because you know life the game. That's not your normal experience. The argument he had earlier, which I got, was there's not enough variety of stuff to do to get to 450, okay? Once you reach... So I understand where Lucky 10p is coming from in this case, where it's like you have no life the game. There's nothing Bungie can do for you, okay? These, as I said, these are the people, the sweaties, whose opinion means dill squat to me at this point. Because, again, that's not your normal human experience. The people I care about are the people who work a job and talk about the experience of playing Destiny 2, where they're like, yeah, I have 5 things I can do, and you want me to do it hundreds of times to do the exact same thing over and over again, and I'm bored by doing the same exact things over and over again. When, you know what, I mean, I hate Borderlands 3. Story sucks, but there's a huge amount of variety, because, like, you can go, so there's Mayhem 11, there's Mayhem 1 through 11, right? The entire map is Mayhem 11, so you can basically do anything in the entire game. And then I'm discovering new endgame stuff, because I only got the Platinum Trophy, but I didn't get the DLC, so I'm now finding out about all the different endgame stuff that you can play in Borderlands 3. There's more variety of stuff in Borderlands 3 than in Destiny 2. So this argument, it's like, to me, it's totally irrelevant. Oh, God, jolly good job on you. You made it to 450 because you know life the game. Though if you have not taken a shower since July 15th, that is disgusting. That is gross. And, yeah, it's just gross. And absolutely not. There's nothing worth it sitting around not taking a shower for 2 weeks.
And that's a lot, right? It's time for you to go outside. And if you have nothing left to do for a period of time because there's nothing in the game, then that's okay, but we should also understand that that's a really unhealthy playstyle, right? We can't make a game for people that are unemployed.
Which is hilarious for him calling it an unhealthy playstyle, since that's what most of the Destiny 2 content creators are doing. I mean, he says later on that he doesn't do that, but he still has the ability to play far more Destiny 2 than most normal people. On top of that, I mean, I guess you could say you could...
Bosses, right? If you can play the game for 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you apparently have no bills, you have no relationships, you have no responsibilities, that's great on you, but Destiny 2 cannot cater to you, Mr. Playing 15 hours.
And nobody is asking for Destiny 2 to cater to them. That's why I thought this one's a little odd bringing it up, because nobody's asking for Destiny 2 to cater to the no-lifers, except the no-lifers. Okay, the content creators, the no-lifers who have already made it to max level, but most of us aren't asking for that. I'm not asking for you to cater to that. I'm saying give me more variety of stuff so I can do to level up to max light level. Give me more. Don't require me to do the same thing 500 times. I mean, hearing him say doing this mission 1,000 times is enough to make me go, why the hell do I even want to try? Why do I even want to try? Okay? There's no point in even trying. So that's why it's two totally different groups. There's the people who are like, I want more variety of stuff to do to level up. And then finding out that you're going to have to go down to like 200 in a couple months anyway. So it's like, anyway, I'm not big on this.
Even I'm a content creator and I can't play that much, right? I got to make content in the meantime. I'm watching videos.
Yeah, like I said, he's watching videos about people complaining about Destiny 2 and defending Bungie to a disgusting level at this point. Like I said, I used to watch his content and I liked him. And I cannot forget him at one point saying that I guess I'm never going to be on the Destiny content creator, whatever it was, because he had criticized the game. Now he has gone so far to the, please Bungie, look at me. I'm going to defend you from all those horrible other normal people out there. Please Bungie, that he's lost all credibility with me. Him and a couple of other people.
Making guides, we're playing through things. Even I am not able to play that much, so we can definitely not.
Yeah, because you're too busy shilling.
Cater to that 0.00001% players. And if they do run out of stuff for a period of time, that's fine. Now Arms Week is here. So now the sweaty of the sweaties that have lived online for the last 2 weeks now have the ability.
And I mean, that's one of the other things I keep saying. If you only play Destiny 2, then yeah, you're going to think it's the greatest game ever made. Get off of Destiny 2. Seriously, get off of Destiny 2. There is so much better stuff out there. And one of my biggest, I keep saying it, one of my biggest regrets is devoting so much time to Destiny and Destiny 2 and not playing other video games. Now I am looking at I am making a list of all the games I have. I am just checking out new stuff. I am going through and I am just loving and overwhelmed at the same time by the massive world of stuff out there. Like, I have never played Souls-like games, but I really want to get into those. I'm never going to get into RTS games, but seriously, if you are playing that much Destiny, it's not worth it. Especially when you find out, like, they don't care, and they're going to drop your gear level down anyway.
To grind out their hand cannons till they get the god roll. So there you have something to do. And guess what? After Arms Week is done, there will probably be something else to do in some small capacity. And so on and so forth, week after week. That's kind of the new cadence of Destiny 2, is that there's always going to be something around the corner. Is it going to be enough to satisfy and satiate the Destiny's most deranged, the career?
Again, like I said, my complaint is not about the most deranged people who spent, like I said, I really don't like the people like that, because first off, it's usually the content creators who could devote that much time. It's not the normies. Again, my issue is not the getting to 450 and not having anything to do. My issue is the lack of variety of stuff to do to get to 450 and expecting people to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Where he flat out said doing the same thing 1,000 times. And hearing people say, I did this mission 30 hours straight for minimal upgrades. Then it's like I said, why am I even going to?
The career guardians that live inside the game, probably not. And that's okay.
Thing for them to grind for now. I don't know, man. It just seems incredibly pointless to go anywhere above 200, especially with the time I have during the week to play the game. The last thing I want to talk about briefly are the contest raid completions. So, to me, it feels like it's absolutely pointless to go for 200 because you're going to get wiped back down to 200. But again, I said the sweaties is my issue. Now, he's going to bring up the contest mode and the raid. And I was planning on making a whole video about my views on the cheaters, because you're seeing a lot of content creators, the big ones, going ban them all. And I'm looking at the contest mode. I might still make a separate video because this is 2 hours long. But my view is one that most people aren't going to agree with me on. All right. So the contest mode, first off, was a buggy mess. Someone actually dared respond to me and say, I've never seen a smoother contest mode. I'm like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? The glitches and bugs that destroyed the contest mode, putting aside the cheating, just the amount of glitches and bugs in this contest mode raid was ridiculous. I didn't even play it, but I have seen and heard so much about it. So first off, there's that. But then, so they, based on the emblems, they determined that less than 0.01% of the population completed the raid on contest mode. Okay? Basically, we had 600 teams complete the raid on contest mode, and I'm sorry, and I actually had someone also argue with me and defend that, where they like, the contest mode is for the elite of the elite. Less than 0.01% is the elite of the elite. Absolutely, that alone is enough to turn people off. Because again, the whole thing with Destiny 2 is you want to get better and better and better. And everyone secretly aspires towards doing the contest mode. Okay? You're telling me less than 0.01% completed the raid on contest mode. That alone tells me there was something wrong with the contest mode. This is the lowest completion rate of all of the raids on contest mode. Okay? 0.01%. That is obscene. Okay? I would go maybe 5%. Hell, you know what? Even 10% of the player base. But you know what? 5%. But 0.01%. Then we add in the fact that 70% of the people who completed it on contest mode cheated.
that there were 600 fire teams that completed it and 400 of them had cheaters involved. I have a lot of serious problems with this because you have all of these high-end Destiny 2 content creators screaming that they should all be banned. Even if you're in a fire team with somebody who cheated, you should be banned. And I have serious problems. First off, serious problems with that one. You're in a fire team, you go in a random fire team, and you happen to come across a cheater, okay? And you should be banned, whether you know about it or not. Now, people are like, well, a lot of times people get carried and they know they're getting into it, okay? But a lot of times people don't know either. Now, I believe one of the founding fathers said, better 10 guilty go free than one innocent get punished. I think it should be the same here. Because I am telling you for a fact that, personally me, okay, this turns me off of ever joining an LFG. Because, first off, if I'm doing a raid, I'm probably not going to notice that you're cheating, okay? I'm not even going to be aware because you really have to be paying attention to other people, even if it's blatantly obvious and I know you're cheating. Do you really think every single person has the guts and the strength to be like, you're cheating, I'm going to report you? Because a part of you is going to be like, what if I'm wrong? And you could be like, oh, well, no. I would not be calling people out. Because what if I'm wrong and someone gets banned because I mistakenly thought they were cheating? So I'm saying, yeah, I get it. There are cases where people are looking for cheaters to help them carry them through. But there are a lot of cases where people don't know that they are in a raid with a cheater. And so the only people who should be banned are the people you know are cheating, not the people in their... I get it. I 100% get it. That there are people who are going to get off because they were in a fire team with a cheater. But again, better that 10 innocent people go free than better that 10 guilty people go free than one innocent person be punished, okay? On top of that, you're telling me that 70% of the fire teams that completed this raid on contest mode cheated. That does not tell me there's something wrong with your player base. That tells me there's something wrong with your raid. That it was so bad. Now, some people, I have no proof of this, but I heard one person say that the same number of people who cheated on this raid are the same number on previous raids, but that so many more people completed it, it didn't stand out. Okay, well, if that is true, then the raid was so obscenely difficult and broken that not enough people so few people completed it. That the only people capable of completing it, the majority of them are cheaters. When I took a college class a couple of years back, I took a class in human anatomy. I was the top of my class. I am not bragging here. This is just to put it into context. I was all A's. Okay, I've always been a nerd. Okay, when I got all A's. In one of the exams he gave us, I got a B, and the rest of the class failed. You know what the professor did? He said, I clearly did not explain the material well enough. We're dropping that test. I'm going to give it to you again after I better explain the material. Bungie should be examining themselves and going, why the hell do we have a raid with such a low completion rate and such a high cheating rate? There's something, putting aside the bugs and the glitches, which definitely discouraged a lot of people, what I'm hearing is that the DPS checks were so high, you had to loadout swap multiple times. That alone is discouraging. So I have a totally different view on the whole thing. I think that if you have a history of cheating, you are a blatant cheater, and you cheated on the raid, only you should be banned. The people in your fire team, again, I know that there are people who chose to join that person's fire team because they knew where they were a cheater. But there are people who don't know, and I'm going to keep saying this. Better that 10 guilty people go free than one innocent person get punished. You're turning... Am I the only one who, when I hear that if you by chance ended up in a fire team with a cheater, you can be banned? You can unknowingly, and I know for a fact... I don't know if I've been with any cheaters in the past. When I used to raid with my clan, it used to be 3 or 4 of us were from the clan and would get in new people. Okay? I can tell you I would be so busy with whatever I was doing as part of the raid that I would not notice you were cheating. And even if I did, I would be too scared to say something. okay? And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, because I'd be like, am I sure? Could I be wrong? I don't know. I'm primarily a hunter main, so I don't know much. Is this warlock doing too much damage? I would not say anything, okay? Because look, I play Destiny 2 for fun. I do not need the stress or the worry about it. So this just tells me don't even bother going into to fire teams with complete strangers, because you may end up with a cheater and you might get thrown out. So I'm the best way to combat that is if you get rid of the cheaters, right? Then the people who want to fire team with cheaters will not find cheaters to fire team with. Okay? So no, I do not think they should be all banned. This is going to piss off a whole bunch of people, but you look to what you're doing first, Bungie. 70% is not a small number. 400 out of 600 is not a small number. It would be totally different if you told me, hell, if it was 25%. I still think 25% would be still too high. But 70%, and you idiots are going around saying, ban them all. And it's not Bungie's fault. And oh, poor Bungie, we know you did the best you could. And the raid being broken, it's not their fault. No. Absolutely not. So that's my view on the whole thing. I'll probably make a separate video.
And the cheating that went on during this event. I am sick and tired of hearing about cheaters in this game that has an anti-cheat software that clearly doesn't work. This isn't only related to the contest raid either. I have seen clips from streamers and people on Twitter of people flying around in PvP games with infinite heavy and infinite RPM, just clearing through some of the top players, for these players to still have access to
that. I 100% agree on. I agree. And the funny thing is, and I think I've already said this before, the reason you can't play Destiny 2 on the Steam Deck is because of their anti-cheat, which clearly isn't working. I 100% agree on that. If you know somebody's a cheater, ban the cheater. Do not ban the fire team. You are running a very high risk that the people in the fire team don't know this person is a cheater. And if they know they're a cheater and you get rid of the cheater, there's less people to depend on. There's less people for them to go to. All right? That's what it is. Okay? Once you get rid of the cheaters, there's no one for them to go to. So they'll probably still playing, but now they will not have an ability to go to a cheater to rely on. Okay? Just get rid of the cheaters. I 100% agree with. I would 100% get rid of the cheaters. And the fact that your anti-cheat software is so effective.
Their accounts days later. I don't know how this stuff goes under the radar.
Part of the reason why some of the cheating goes under the radar is that because it has to do with net limiting. So it's more about network manipulation, and I don't think it pings Bungie's radars in the exact same way that hard cheating does. Like, I don't know that BattleEye flags the net limiting as easily as hard cheats, because hard
look, whether he's
cheats is like it's a file that's in your game and stuff like that. I think that the net limiting somehow can work around it a little bit better. I'm no expert of net limiting, but
so net limiting is why people have infinite heavy. Look, I get it. It's very hard to tell. All right, but why is it we hear so much about it coming from Destiny 2? I don't know. Like I said, my view is simple. Ban the cheaters. I know it's harder to catch them, but ban the cheaters. I think he's the one who used to make a lot of content showing off cheaters.
It seems as though that has a better workaround, and they're unable to catch the net limiters. So the net limiters are the ones doing a lot of the cheating, especially in that contest raid, and it's just more difficult for Bungie to detect them. And
I get what he's saying, and he's probably right, but at the same time, like I said, you have to look at the whole context, where you're like, dude, okay, can it comes across as disingenuous again. The problem is when you don't criticize, when you're not honest, right, where everything you say is in defense of Bungie, even things that shouldn't be defended, then when you defend Bungie, it just comes across as so hollow, okay? Yeah, he's probably right. The net limiting thing, probably right, okay? But it just comes across as so disingenuous after defending the lack of exotics, where you're like, yeah, but everything you say grates on my nerves now after everything else.
Ban them.
I know what you're thinking. Total glow up. What's her secret? Fine, I'll spill. I totally upgraded.
for so long. I don't know if something has been done about the contest raid cheaters, but if it hasn't, Bungie really needs to start slamming down that ban hammer as soon as possible.
They did announce that they were removing all of the cheaters, and the community third-party websites removed about 400 teams from the top 600.
I don't agree with that. Like I said, remove the cheaters. Do not remove the teams. Because you're going to remove people. I'm going to keep saying this. Better that 12 guilty people go free than one innocent person get arrested. Get rid of the actual cheater in the team. If you can tell who the cheater is, get rid of the cheater. Do not get rid of the team. It's not fair. You don't know the circumstances. Instead of, to me, I find it discouraging. I'm like, okay, so if I by chance come across a fire team because my clan isn't playing Destiny 2 at this point. My clan is out. So if I want to, I'm going to have to go looking for randos. And if I happen to come across a cheater, are you telling me that the hundreds of dollars that I spent on this game is gone because I happen to come across a cheater? No, absolutely not. Okay? You want to remove the emblem from the teams. This is what you know what's even worse? Remove the emblems from the teams that cheated and then remove the cheater. And that would be so much better.
So there's only about less than 200 teams that successfully cleared without cheaters, myself included. Thankfully,
See? Oh, Habibi, did your spot go up higher? Good for you. Now you're one of only 200.
I take a lot of pride in clearing that contest now, especially knowing that it was only 200 teams that...
See? No, again, there's something wrong with that raid. See? The people who are defending banning the cheaters...
cleared the damn thing in 48 hours. 400 teams actually cheated, which is pretty crazy. But as far as banning the people that played with cheaters, I don't think Bungie's going to go that far. I kind of wish they would.
See? They all say that. I hope Bungie did remove them. It isn't.
Go scorched earth there, but it is what it is.
They shouldn't go scorched earth because again, you're going to remove innocent people. There are. I know for a fact. Whether I haven't done raid, I haven't done any LFG stuff in a while. My clan has been out of it. I know for a fact that if I ended up with a team with a cheater, I probably wouldn't notice. And even if I did think or suspect that the person was a cheater, I'd be too scared to say something. Okay? Flat, I won't deny. I would be like, is he really cheating? What if I'm wrong? Just, that's how it is. And just, no. So the fact that so many of the people are go scorched earth is absolutely wrong. And just, look at me, look at you now. You're one of only 200. This is not good. For 200 teams beat your raid. 200 teams beat your raid on contest mode. Tells me there's something wrong with the raid.
And I'm not only talking about the people who were doing the carries for the people who they were with. The people who were stupid enough to play with someone blatantly cheating need to be banned too. No. Again, I don't think this is a rare opinion. I don't.
No, and that's mine. Like I said, my opinion is the rare one, because I speak for. I'm telling you, even some of them know they're being carried. I'm not going to deny that. Some of them knew, but some of them didn't. And you risk mixing the two up. Again, founding father of this country. Better 10 guilty people go free than one innocent person get punished. I'm sorry? Absolutely not. Better 10 guilty go free than one innocent get punished. People put a lot of money into this game and a lot of time. And you're willing to risk punishing an innocent person because you just want to put the ban hammer down on everyone. Get mad at me all you want, but tell me for a fact you will know every time you're in a team with a cheater. Are you sure about that? Are you? You might suspect a person is a cheater. No.
I think this is a hot take. I think everybody who was a participant during this contest raid who was playing with a cheater needs to be banned. It
No.
was around 70% of contest clears were cheated. That is a diabolical number. And the fact that that went under the radar for days and days is just inexcusable. Surely Bungie has the statistics to find out whether these people were cheating or not. Again, I don't know if Bungie have done anything about this already, but if it hasn't been done, it certainly needs to be. Now, I know I probably missed a ton of stuff during this video of reasons why I am stopping playing Destiny, and I do apologize for that. There are probably 1,000 more reasons, but these are the ones that kind of stand out to me.
And I already
Overall, Destiny for me just isn't what it used to be.
And I already made a video. It was almost like an hour long going over why I have fallen out of love with Destiny 2. This is just more about why I'm not interested in Edge of Fate. It's a different thing. Why things that have turned me off of Edge of Fate, where I seriously considered Edge of Fate, despite everything happening, and then just nothing on Edge of Fate convinced me to come back. There's nothing about Edge of Fate that has convinced me why I need to play it. You know, I was willing to come back even with everything I said in the Destiny 2 falling out of love with Destiny 2 video, if you'd given me enough in Edge of Fate to convince me. But between just the mess that's Edge of Fate, the grind, the lack of content, and the people shilling for it, it's like these people don't understand that you turn people, when you're trying to defend Bungie for things that the majority of the people are unhappy about, do you really think you're drawing people back to Destiny 2? When everyone is unhappy with the state of the game and they're like, okay, there's not enough variety of things for us to do to level up, and you're trying to defend it. When people are saying there's not enough exotics and you're trying to defend the lack of exotics, do you really think people are going, oh my God, you're right, I'm so wrong? No, they're going to look at you and be like, what the hell is wrong with you? You are so out of touch with the normies of this game that you've lost touch. Most normal people aren't thinking like you, and it shows in the player base, and it shows in your comments. As I said, I used to like watching this guy's stuff. But lately, and I thought, okay, I'm like, okay, no, you know what? It must just be me. And then I read the comments, and people are angry with him. And it's like, bro, you're not convincing people that to come back to Edge of Fate. You're not convincing people. Instead of convincing, you're coming across as a shill, and an out-of-touch shill who doesn't know what it's like to just be a normal Destiny 2 person. Which is why, honestly, the people whose content I listen to, Joker, who's a bigger channel, but most of the people are the smaller people with like 200 views on their videos, because they're people who have a job, have a life, play Destiny 2 for fun, who cannot devote 15 hours a day, and who aren't going to be shilling for Bungie because they want to get on their creator program. You blatantly have reached the point where it is obvious, where it's like, you clearly are on the point of Bungie, please, I'm sorry, Bungie, please, I want to be a part of it, Bungie, please, and it's out of touch and it does not draw people into the game. You watching this video was another factor in turning me off. You are so blatantly out of touch. And anyone like you.
And I think I'm okay with that. The truth is, I just don't have the time anymore to pour thousands of hours into a game that clearly has no love going into it. For those of you that still love the game, I am super happy for you guys. I really am. I wish I enjoyed it as much as you do, but that's just how it goes sometimes, unfortunately. With that being said, I may pop back.
Look, I don't have a problem with people who enjoy the game. I think that people who are blindly obsessed with the game, who only play Destiny 2, have a bias, and I freely have said again, I have said that I was in that position where I thought Destiny 2 was the greatest game ever made because all I ever played was Destiny 2. But if you enjoy it, go right ahead. My issue is with the people like this dude who is so defensive of Bungie and cannot see. Like I said, he goes, yeah, I see, I agree with you, but this is why Bungie's doing it, and this is why it's better this way, and I agree with Bungie, and this is why I should accept what Bungie's doing, and how dare you criticize it. That's how he comes across, out of touch and oblivious.
back for Renegades later on when that
They got you back. They said, I'm quitting. I'm never playing again
No, I'm
until Renegades. I got to see that Star Wars DLC.
Star Wars DLC. Really? Really? The only reason I would even be interested in Renegades is to see if they fixed the mess. You know how it is, how the Taken King fixed everything? See if they managed to realize that people are so pissed off and they finally fix it. But Star Wars DLC, oh golly gee.
See.
launches, as I did already purchase it way back when.
So,
but I wouldn't
no,
hold out
he
hope, if
already
I'm honest.
purchased it.
This does mean that I'm going to be veering away from Destiny content. So a lot of you who have viewed my last video, and maybe even this one, may not see me again, as I'll be uploading totally different content to what is catered to you guys. But either way, I appreciate you guys coming into the videos and all the support you guys have been leaving. It's been a little bit overwhelming because, I mean, 2,000 views is...
And like I said before, there are Mylan Games. I think I already mentioned him. Mylan Games, 10 years of Destiny lore, dumps Destiny 2. And his content has been never better. Love watching him making videos about other games. I just saw a video he was talking about Borderlands 2. Love it so much better. So much better.
Isn't a lot for you guys, but for me, like, as a small content creator, that's massive. Like, that's huge. So yeah, thank you guys, I really do appreciate it, and I may or may not see you in some other videos.
See, the mom setup is I got it. Yeah.
So there it is. That was I'm quitting Destiny after 10 years. And my final conclusion, my final thoughts on this are that if you ever need to take time off Destiny, feel free to always do it.
Yeah, but the problem with taking time off of Destiny 2 is, which I have done, is you miss so much. You can take time off of Warframe and go back, and you might miss a seasonal thing. But when I say a seasonal thing, it's not like something lore heavy. It's not something that, you know, you're really missing out on, all right? Oh, you might not get the new skin for the, they're giving a tube, you know, the things they use in pools, okay? And that goes on for several weeks, all right? But really when it comes down to it, you're not behind power-wise. You're not missing content. You can miss Warframe for weeks on end and not feel out of touch, okay? Because all the content is still there. You can keep going at it, right? Destiny 2, on the other hand, you disappear. I did play for most of the last year, okay? People are talking about Maya Sundaresh. I'm like, where the hell did she come into this? Okay? You miss out a couple weeks of Destiny 2. You fall behind. And they take stuff out. It's all so confusing. So saying, you can take time off from Destiny 2, don't worry about it. Yeah, sure, Habibi, sure.
I think that too many people get wrapped up in the idea of FOMO and the inability to leave the game for a period of time because coming back is difficult. You feel like you missed out on so much.
And that's Bungie's doing. Bungie does that on purpose. FOMO, you're missing out. Yes, Bungie, on top of it, you can't even, your season pass that you paid for, the season pass paid for, if you don't complete it by the end of the season, you lose it. So the reason there's so much FOMO is because that's how Bungie created it. They want you to feel like you can't leave. Because the more time you spend in the game, the more likely you are to buy microtransactions.
It's really not a problem. You're going to be fine coming back. You're going to be fine taking some time off.
Yeah,
if
sure.
you aren't vibing.
Does anybody believe this guy at this point? Because I know for a fact it's very hard to get back in. And Bungie on purposely does it that way. They want it that way.
With the Edge of Fate, of course, take some time off until Renegades. Along the way, though, I think you might be surprised at all the things that happen. I think that a lot of people kind of are basically judging Edge of Fate based on its first week or first 2 weeks.
Yes, because like you judge a book based on the cover. And the thing is, everything I'm hearing is just discouraging overall. I'm sorry, but again, I can't take anything this guy says seriously at this point because he's just been defending things that I just...
But it's meant to be a 6-month expansion, right? It's meant to be this like 6-month time period where Bungie is meant to keep us interested, engaged week after week. And I think that Edge of Fate.
And do you really think there's enough content to keep you engaged for 6 months if this is how it is? This is how it starts off.
At the end of 6 months will look a whole lot better to players than it does in the first 6 days. If that makes sense. Because you'll get to actually look back at everything that we got to do versus kind of like looking.
The thing is, again, okay, whether he's right or not about this, okay. First off, just overall, when you look at it, again, when you hear them talk about needing to grind something thousands of times, the same thing, that alone is discouraging. Where you're like, do I even want to bother? Okay. When you look at the limited amount of stuff, again, it makes you go, do I even want to bother? When you find out that your light level is going to be dropped back to 200, do I even want to bother? But all of that aside, listening to this guy, even if he's right, even if, first off, you're gambling on this, whether it's going to get better or not, do you believe him? Do you believe him? And that's the problem. That's why I said earlier where people were buying the final shape because I was being honest. This guy has said so much garbage up until this point where you feel like he's out of touch and disingenuous. Where it's like, why should I believe you at this point? You're willing to take garbage coming out of Bungie and compliment it and try and turn back. Just
at the stuff we have right now, which looks significantly less or diminished. So hopefully I'm right about that prediction, though. I could be wrong.
The other problem with this prediction is you're trusting Bungie. Does anybody trust them at this point? We keep going through this cycle, hoping it gets better and then getting disappointed, hoping it gets better and then getting disappointed, hoping it gets better. And that's one of the other reasons why you had to convince me to buy Edge of Fate. Because at this point, I have hoped so much that things will get better, only to get disappointed. People would come into my live stream and, did you watch the trailer? How many times have we watched a trailer for something coming out in Destiny 2 and going, oh my God, that looks awesome? Yeah, how many people liked the trailer for Lightfall? Thought it looked awesome, only for it to be severely disappointed. I have learned at this point that the only thing to expect is disappointment. And it's sweet and so summer child innocent, where it's like, oh, it could get better. That is the same argument over and over and over. One of the reasons why, like, a lot of people were out with Final Shape, where I was like hopeful about Edge of Fate, was because I thought we were gonna have another Taken King moment, where it's like things get so bad at Bungie and then they turn it around. So I was like, okay, they need to fix this. They really need to fix this. I'm like, it's got to be good. They got to fix this. And then you get, yeah. So, do you really think it at this point? Do you really think after everything? That's why when people talk about Marathon, right, and they look at Marathon, and it's like, after everything Bungie did to Destiny 2, do you trust them to handle Marathon? An extraction shooter is basically the bare bones minimum of a looter shooter. Okay, it's a bunch of maps where you go, you loot, you shoot, you get out, right? Do you trust Bungie at this point to not fill that game with microtransactions? The minimum amount. Oh, they're probably at the beginning, they're going to get hyped and try and push a lot of stuff into it. But after a year, their motto at this point should be minimum viable product, where they're going to put the bare minimum and charge you, and they're going to put on the Bungie tax. They're like, yeah, but we're Bungie, so we should charge you more because we are Bungie. It doesn't matter the quantity. The name Bungie alone adds quality to the content. It's like when you buy a new keyboard, right? And you're just like, okay, what brand should I go to? It's like the Razer tax, right? Where it's like, keep Razer brand. And I have Razer, okay? I have Razer because I have the Razer controller. So it's like easier to have everything Razer because I use my Razer controller on my PC. And I got it on sale, so it's not like I paid full price or anything. But you got the Razer tax. You got the Bungie tax. Where it's like, yeah, well, we're Bungie, so you're going to have to pay more. So I'm just asking, honestly, do you really have any high hopes at this point? And for it to be Star Wars of all things. Seriously, Star Wars? I don't know.
Be at the end of 6 months and be like, man, Bungie, this was half baked. What were you thinking? This is not going to work. I could easily have a much more pessimistic opinion at the end of 6 months. But
No, you're not gonna have. You're gonna come up with a way to justify, even if people aren't happy. In 6 months, you're gonna justify anything, regardless of the outcome.
as right now, I'm cautiously optimistic that we're heading through an era of Destiny 2 that is still very much a Destiny narrative, still a very much Destiny player experience where you have loot that you can invest your time for.
Yeah. How many times have we been cautiously optimistic? How many times?
You've got raid loot, you've got loot outside of the raids. You can still obviously play a ton of different PvP if you want to be that type of guy. I've been there.
And yet, no PvP map, PvP maps, the cheaters are out of control. Like, a while back, I asked people, I'm like, I'm not really a PvP person, but I'm like, you know what? I want to play PvP. I really want to get involved in PvP. And every person told me don't. They're like, this was several years ago. It wasn't even recent. And they're like, don't. They're like, the cheating is out of control. Don't.
Or, I don't know. I don't think the Destiny 2 is in the worst place ever in terms of edge
What
of
does it need to be in the worst place ever, Habibi? What does it need to be? When you were talking, your player base has dropped by 2/3. Habibi. What is the worst place ever for you? It's worse than when it first launched. It's worse than Curse of Osiris. But you're thinking it's not in the worst place. Habibi.
I think that the population is definitely lower, and Bungie is going with a whole new strategy, and it's a bold one. Only time will tell if it does pay off. We've talked a little bit about what that strategy is. I don't want to sit here and recap the same thing 1,000 times over.
Yeah, we heard you're defending all of the shitty decisions they made because everything Bungie does is a bold, new, good strategy. Hell yeah! Everything Bungie does is a bold, new, good strategy. Thank you, Bungie. Now, will you make me part of your creator program? Please, Bungie. See, I'm shilling for you. Please, make me a part of your program. Look at my channel. Look, I only praise you, Bungie.
But the strategy is, from Bungie's point of view, is to make the game for the players that play the game, basically. People that want to play Destiny 2 and invest their time have something to do. And so the Destiny fans, the people that are willing and interesting to grind.
Oh, so now you're saying that if I don't want to play Destiny 2 in the state that it is right now, I'm not a real fan. Okay, Habibi. Really? So, the not real Destiny 2 fans don't want to grind the same thing 1,000 times. The not real Destiny fans do not want to do the same thing over and over and over for minimal rewards. I get you. I'm not a real Destiny fan. No, bro. I'm not an idiot. Okay? I'm not an idiot. That's what it is. Okay? Telling me that I'm not a real fan because I don't want to spend 30 hours grinding Encore? That I don't want to spend $100 for 50% less content? Oh, I'm not a real fan. Really, bro. But you are. Because you shill and see everything Bungie does in a positive light. I know people who have played a lot of Destiny 2 who are completely out at this point. The fact that I'm willing to even consider Age of Fate at this point. Bro, I cannot. How dare you say that? I'm not a real fan because I don't want to do Encore for 30 hours straight. Oh, yeah.
Behind the game are not going to run out of too much. Now you've got this crazy power grind, and you're going to have these crazy...
Power grind is not content. I just... You're not a real fan if you don't want to do the same limited number of things for hundreds of hours. Oh, there is more content in Destiny.
Crazy tier 5 drops you're going to chase for, weapons and armor, and then all these little mini events along the way. And then obviously the raid, the epic raid, and everything that goes along with that. Hopefully this strategy does work for them, and they keep the It's kind of like a niche community of people that play this game, right? We want to keep this niche community engaged.
And when are the layoffs going to start, bro? The niche, the special idiots who are willing to go on through the treadmill for hundreds of hours. The layoffs are going to start coming, bro. No matter what. Your niche community isn't going to have a game for much longer. Are you that blind and oblivious? The elite niche? They were laying people off after Final Shape. What do you think right now, Habibi, what do you think is going on at Sony right now? When a little more than half the number of people bought Edge of Fate as bought Final Shape. What do you think is going on at Sony right now when they are looking at this player base? Do you really think they're going, yeah, good job, Bungie, you're keeping those hardcore idiots along? How long are the people going to stick around that you call the elite niche people? Because the player base is dropping, bro. And there's going to be layoffs. And then at one point, yeah, you think that it's bad now with the layoffs they had before? How bad do you think it's going to get when they lay off more people? Are you going to defend the game next year when they give you even less content because they had to lay people off? You need a player base. And this game is expensive to make. It's not like Warframe, which has managed to survive with an average of 40,000 people on Steam alone. Warframe is also on more platforms, okay? And they are a smaller company. They don't have over 800 people working. They have like 500, okay? Your niche community is not going to sustain this game. And how dare you? I knew people who ran these old raids dozens of times, who were playing this game hardcore. How dare you say that only the big true fans are sticking around to do this treadmill? How dare you?
And playing for a higher number of hours, a higher percentage.
No. It's not the higher number of hours, you idiot. No. It's not. It's they want the whales to stick around. They want the whales. The people spending hundreds of dollars on armor. That's what they want. They're going to keep shoving stuff into Eververse. But again, how many people are going to lose their jobs because not enough people are playing it? Dude, are you really this dumb? Seriously, bro. Your niche player base cannot sustain this game. You're going to get less and less content because of that. Your niche community cannot sustain it. Even if the whales are the ones sticking around, if the sale number for Edge of Fate is half of Final Shape, and they were laying people off after Final Shape, what do you think is going on? Holy shit, dude, are you really this oblivious?
Played prior. Like, that's kind of their main goal. They're not really adopting a bunch of new players at this point in time. It's not really new.
No, they're not adopting new players. They're losing all their older players too. Every member of my clan is out. Every member. I have never seen so much. Like, it used to be if I criticized Destiny 2, the majority of the people would jump on my back for daring to criticize Destiny 2. Even when I was right, I mean, like at one point I was criticizing the holiday seasonal card, and people were defending that. Now your own comments are roasting you, bro. Everybody is leaving the game. I have never, and I went through the whole boycott Eververse. I have never, ever seen the whole. I've never seen so much negativity towards Destiny 2. I have never seen it this bad.
Player friendly, and it's only going to get harder to be a new player in Destiny 2 because the systems are just becoming more and more complex, and we can try and make a bunch of simple guides.
You need new players. Warframe, one of the biggest problems with Warframe And one of the things the biggest problem was the new player experience. 100%. The new player experience was a nightmare. You know what they did? First of all, they added a whole new mission at the beginning that is gorgeous. I played it on so at one point I had 2 Nintendo accounts, so I was able to replay it on a second Nintendo account, and then I merged them all, so now I can't. I have seen the new mission. On top of that, you know what they announced at TennoCon? That they're adding a mission to the game to help with modding. They have been repeatedly adding stuff into the game, modifying the game, changing the outpost, oh god, my brain is freezing on them. Where you move between planet to planet. They are changing things in the game to make the game more player friendly. I have to give them credit. They are doing everything they can to, one, add to the player experience for the old timers, but also make it new user friendly. No, bro, this is not a good thing. You are bleeding players, and you make it harder for new people to come in. This is not good. One of my favorite YouTubers is Josh Strife Hayes. He talks about MMOs, and these are the classic signs of the death of a game. Adding in stupid microtransactions that have nothing to do with the game. The Doki Doki Heart, the Star Wars, the Assassin's Creed. It shows me that you need you need money, so you're putting in anything you can to get more money in. Making the new user experience bad is horrible. And one of the things they do is they just give you a lot of the failing MMOs, when they realize they can't bring in new players, they give you level boosts so you could be on level with experienced players. No, bro. This is what I mean. This guy is complimenting things that are you this oblivious? Holy shit, dude. Not bringing in new people? This is really bad.
And we can make a million little explanations on the screen. But in the end, it's not as simple as it used to be, where you just load in the game and shoot your gun, and that's it. It's just now you got all these stats, all these armors, all these exotics, all these abilities, aspects, subclasses, 3 different classes, crazy movement, you name it. There's a lot going on, right? And that's a good thing, especially
No, it's not a good thing. Oh, it's good you have complicated things. You need to teach the new players. And that's one of the mistakes that Warframe made. And that's why Warframe is fixing it. One of the hardest things, the most complicated things about Warframe is the modding system. I've been playing that game for hundreds of hours, and I still have difficulty figuring out the modding system. And what did they do? They didn't go, oh, well, we can't add in new people. It's just complicated. That's how the game is. It's great how the game is. They are adding a tutorial into the game to help people with modding, saying that you need to watch external videos on how to get into Destiny 2. That's the problem Warframe had. Where the constant joke was, if you're going to play Warframe, you need 1 screen for the game and 1 for tutorials. And what did DE say? They didn't say, oh, we're catering to our niche audience. No, the game would not survive. They're trying to add content into the game to make it more user-friendly. The new war required you to have a railjack and a necromech. A necromech is a pain in the ass to grind for. In fact, I bought my necromech because I had a 75% coupon, so I bought a necromech. What did they do? Because they knew that was a problem? They give you a necromech at the beginning of the new war. They made it easier to get a railjack. They changed it. It used to be mastery rank tests. If you failed it, you had to wait 24 hours. They're changing that. They are changing the game to help new players, but at the same time, they're adding new content for the older players. How you can even think this is a good thing? Bro, you are bleeding players and you're not getting new people in, and you're saying, good, we, no. Holy shit, dude. Oh my God. How can you be this blind? You're complimenting, oh, this is just a niche community. The layoffs are going to come. If you do not fix this, there's going to be layoffs and you're not going to get new people in. Are you this oblivious? What the hell? Mr. 2 content creator. I don't get paid to play video games for a living. And even I can tell you, this is bad.
People that like Destiny 2, and it's a tough thing for new players to get in. So Bungie is, instead of doing what they did with Destiny 2 when it launched and they tried to make it like easier and more streamlined, they're going the other direction. They're making it more complex. Let me know what you think about the video down in the comment section.
Yes, they can have a complex game, but still make it possible for new people to get in. Again, don't tell me Warframe isn't complicated. There are hundreds of mods. There are over 50 Warframes. And they are still trying to make it more accessible for new people. Don't tell me because, oh, well, they can make it easier and dumber, or they can make it more complicated and you're not going to get new people in it. No, you can have a complicated game, but have a good intro to it. Teach people how to play it. You need new people. This is insane. I had not watched till the end. I can't believe you're actually saying this. You're saying it's good Bungie's only catering to a niche, exclusive audience. You cannot afford that. They are going to lay people off and the quality is going to go down. No, bro, this isn't how it works. And then saying that, oh, the game is complicated, so it means it's harder for new people, so they should just keep it it's good, it's complicated. Keep it complicated. It doesn't matter about the new player experience. You could have a complicated game, have a good tutorial. And that was one of the constant complaints about Warframe. And you know what? Digital Extremes didn't say, yeah, well, we're just an exclusive Warframe community, and we're going to not invite new people. They're making it better. The number of things that they have changed over the last year or two to make it a better. It used to be when you first started playing Warframe, you got broken mods. And you would have to farm for the same version of the mod, only not broken. And the broken version was less than the non-broken. Now they give you non-broken mods. They give you new, good mods to start the game. Okay? It used to be at the... They would give you, in the beginning, they have changed it so that some of the weapons you don't get the blueprint. So you don't have to look for the resources. They give you the weapon early in the game. Instead of giving you the blueprint, they will give you weapons. So to make the experience, they've added, because it is a free game, so they do have to charge you. They used to give you less slots for Warframes and weapons. They're now giving you more Warframe slots and more weapon slots. Again, to make the game more user-friendly. And it's a complicated game. Warframe isn't just flat out easy. To the point where you have the whole map, and then you have the Steel Path, which is the whole map, which is a huge map all over again, 100 levels higher. You want to go batshit crazy in Warframe and go killing enemies ridiculously high? You can do that. I cannot believe you are saying this with a straight face. Bro, what are you saying? Anyway, this video is getting ridiculously long. It's 2.5 hours of me but the ending is the most important part. God, dude, God, wake up. I have lost all respect for you. You know, it was bad enough, but at the end, you've lost me. You have completely lost me. Get out of Warframe then. Start playing other stuff. See what... You're so in this exclusive bubble. And wake up. Anyway, thank you for watching. I say, comment down below. I'm not going to be doing this often because it's like 2 hours. And I hope to see you in the tower. Destiny 1's tower.